ladies and gentlemen. We're having a few problems at the moment. It looks like Kate is getting hacked already. We've just opened the show. Welcome to Outside the Box, Freedom Reigns. Is there anybody else that is there at the moment? We've got Dean Clifford with us, and we've also got Peter from DP. Is anybody else there? Hello. Okay, right. Peter's with us. It looks that way. I'm waiting for somebody else to let me know that we're live and this isn't actually getting out. But, yeah, I think we're going to be in for a good show tonight. Lots of people out there already know about Dean Clifford's work, and obviously... Okay, looks like Kate's still trying. Are you there with us, Kate? Okay, do you want to say hello?
Hello.
Hello, Dean.
Hey, apparently I'm hot.
Absolutely. Excellent.
Excellent.
Right. It's started. So, what have you been up to lately, Keith?
Well, working all this week. After a summer of fun out and about, screwing with the government and the police and going after everybody, I'm back at construction pretty much full time now. So, time to get my own affairs back in order while I finish all this other stuff off. So I'll be working for the winter back at building houses and contracting, and kind of happy to be back on the tool belt actually.
Okay, that sounds quite interesting. So, give us a brief on how you're managing to do this, because obviously in the UK here we've got safety certificates, we've got all sorts of different things that prevent anybody from working on sites unless you're doing it exactly by the letter. So give us a quick bit of information on that one, please, Dean.
Well, actually, to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever had any kind of a safety certificate, a builder's license, or anything in my entire life. I don't really see what the heck the point of that would be. I mean, you're either you got to get a building permit when you're building in a brand new area, which I have a building permit on one of the houses I'm building right now because it's going to be sold afterwards. But as long as it's being built to code, because they have to inspect it every time you can complete a stage, what the hell would you ever need any type of certification for?
Well,
I don't think that makes any sense.
No, that's fine. But in the UK, we've got things like CIS cards, and there's all sorts of other tax codes that you need, and all sorts of, serious amounts of equipment. Legislation on you've got to have hard hats, boots. All your tools have got to be 110 voltage, and you've got to jump through this hoop, that hoop, and quite a few other hoops. So it's not the same as over here, then, Dean.
No, definitely not. And let me ask you a question about that with regards to the UK. If you do not have all of these things, can you be prevented from even working on a site?
Basically, yes. That's the legislation. It's crazy, but it's been brought in bit by bit by bit, drip by drip. I mean, there's certain tools you can't use, and there's things like nail guns that you can't use unless you've got site safety certificates. You need insurances. There's loads of different loops that you need to, loads of different hoops that you need to jump through to work. Plus your tax references. If you've got to pay your tax direct and all sorts of other things.
Well, it kind of sounds like you guys are worse off than us, and that just means there's got to be a bigger correction. And my first thought is if somebody told me that I didn't have all the necessary government documents for them to be able to hire me, I would sue them. I would sue them because that is a violation of your right to a meaningful livelihood, your right to work. That's internationally recognized. You have the right to work, and that you don't need government certification just to get a job. So that's a bunch of crap. I mean, I could easily make the case for there needing to be some form of regulations on job sites. Otherwise, you would have a bunch of yahoos out there doing really, really stupid things. But I think it sounds like it's gotten a little ridiculous, especially over there. Even in Canada here, when people told me you actually need something called a contractor's license in some of the different provinces, I started laughing. I said, "Are you serious?" I said, "That's just ridiculous. So why would you ever need a contractor's license? Right? You're a contractor. You engage in contracts. Who can limit your right to contract? That's what the word contractor means. Someone's going to pay me to do something. I do it. Now, if I'm going to build somebody a house, and you need an electrician to come in, then electricians are certified. That's fine. And you need a plumber that's certified. Okay, I could see the reasons for that. Even though technically speaking, the homeowner can get their own license, electrical permits and plumbing permits without their needing to have a license. And then all it takes is, as long as the inspector comes through and says, "Yep, it all looks good," then it's good. You don't need any friggin' certification. Just more government control, and yeah, people definitely do need to start fighting back against that. That just sounds like it just ties up an incredible amount of people's time and resources just to comply with all this government horse shit. And I know everybody's getting pretty tired with it, and unfortunately it's going to be the diehards, the people that truly believe in this stuff, that are going to be the first people to take the lumps and really start to take people to task in the courts and say, "By what authority do you have to force me to get a license just to contract?"
Exactly. I mean, this is it's getting ridiculous here, but it's coming in from all different angles as well. But I mean, that's one aspect of the actual legislation aspect. But then, everything has gone absolutely ridiculous over here. We've got CCTV everywhere. We've got tracking systems everywhere. RFIDs in the passports, and there's no RFIDs in your bank cards and all sorts of things. We're really heading straight into a blooming police state, especially in the UK. But it's obviously not that bad where you are, or not as bad.
No. And again, you remember, everything you're talking about now with regards to a license, I mean, just the very definition of the word license itself. A license is permission to do something which would otherwise be illegal. Are you trying to tell me it's against the law for you to seek meaningful employment, to gain a meaningful livelihood? That just means right there that you don't need a license to do any of this stuff, because that would be like saying it's illegal to work without government permission. Well, who the fuck do they think they are?
Exactly. Legislators.
Yeah, so that would be an excellent lawsuit against the government in the UK, because they could never make answer to that. I don't know what courts you guys have there. You may want to go to one of the higher courts. If you guys can find something like the Court of the Exchequer, which is the federal court here in Canada, that's a court of equity, and go after the government. I know here in Canada it only costs you $2 to sue the government, and even that you can have that waived if you sign a declaration that you have no income. But again, the problem is people are mixing jurisdictions still. Where a lot of people want to go in, they want to argue common law rights in a commercial venue, and they don't mix. You cannot bring the two different law forms together, right? That's a maxim of equity. You cannot bring two unequal things together. So know which jurisdiction you're bringing this into. But people have to start fighting this stuff. You have to start taking the government to task. You have to start contacting some of these assholes and saying, "Excuse me, by definition, a license is permission to do something which otherwise would be illegal. I don't want a contractor's license. Are you trying to tell me it's illegal to be a contractor, to enter into contracts without your permission? Who the fuck are you to interfere and to meddle in a private contract if I enter into one with somebody?"
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that.
They can't answer that. That'll bring that down right there.
Well, they're doing a bloody good job of bringing it in anyway, and it's, like I say, it's well established here now. But,
it's well established because nobody said anything for 40 years, right?
Well, pretty much, something like that.
Yeah, all that is operation of law. They're thinking, oh, well, I guess they're okay with it because they haven't said anything. The only problem is we haven't said anything yet. So it's not real law. It's only in force and effect because nobody's bitching about it.
Yep. Well, people are bitching about it, but they're still going along with it. That's the problem. It's acquiescence.
Yeah. Well, and again, just bitching about it doesn't do anything. You actually have to bring an action against them and get them to prove prove up their claim that you require a license to do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Which obviously is part of what needs to be done.
Yep. I'm all for building codes. Like, I'm a builder. I'm all for building codes because I've seen some awful stuff out there. This is why I'm very agreeable. I'm a very agreeable fellow. I do agree we need some form of body that comes along and inspects the work to make sure it's done to a minimum standard. And that's all a building code is. It's a minimum standard of building. Like to say something's built to code, you're letting somebody know it's been built to a minimum standard. You should always be exceeding a minimum building standard. And as long as the inspectors are coming out and they're passing the work, what the fuck does it matter whether the people doing the work are licensed and even certified? It doesn't. It doesn't make a difference. That's just bullshit. So I'll leave that topic alone now. You probably want to move on.
Well, we've also got Peter with us from Divine Province. Are you there, Peter?
I'm here.
Excellent. How have you been getting on?
Very good. Very fluid situation. Trains left the station, and it's getting real exciting here in America, America. We're keeping them hopping down here. We're having a good time. They're actually they're starting to get the memo on a different level. Had a brother actually go into court and retain his position. Matter of fact, it's a posted case. Let's see, what was it? Issued nolo pro quo or something like that. Anyways, he just went in there with a little white flag stating his beneficial position as the living beneficiary and brought his little birth certificate. Judge noted it right up front. Have a great day. Michael Bukowski was free to go, and Michael was free to go. So they recognized the man, and it was very simple, easy, 5 minutes, in, out, game over. Because that's sweet. I'm researching another gentleman. I think he's in Australia, and he's administrated his process, and I caught wind. I want verification, of course. I don't take anything on hearsay, so once I get some verbal and some proof, I think he was in the middle of a foreclosure and made that baby go bye-bye and went to bed. And there's other issues across the country that are literally getting put to bed. Matter of fact, DHS, I think, talked with brother JT and basically said, hey, we'd like to enter your, we'd like to talk to the Postmaster General. And they said, you have them. He said, you have them. And it looks like they're want to make sure we're in the system of record so everybody's getting the memo. So things are really actually starting to move forward in a positive direction on multiple levels. We're moving forward this weekend on some other stuff, and it's going to be very exciting for all. So really, really good stuff. And I've had no problems with using the international IDs in any way, shape, or form. I don't have any problems because I like getting them where I want them. I like that they're in full commercial liability when they want to step. It's all good, and they're getting the memo.
Excellent.
No fighting, no arguing, just, you know.
It's really exciting stuff. It totally is. I just wondered, Dean, you're up to speed with what guys have been doing over at Divine Province, yeah?
Nope, I have absolutely no clue. In fact, the first time I'd even heard of it was when Kate brought it up there 2 weeks ago, and I was supposed to look into it more, and I haven't had a chance yet.
Well, you need to come to my door, brother, and I'll give you the nickel tour, and I'll get you on the page. Dude, yeah, I think you've been avoiding me, you know. We had that 20 minutes that one day, and that was the end of that tune.
Oh, man.
I know you're busy. I know you're busy. Yeah, brother. Hey, I'll get you up to speed in 5 minutes. You'll get my memo, and you'll get it. Because I know you're sharp, brother. I know you get this stuff.
Yeah, I'm not really too worried about getting it. I'd like to see what you guys are up to. I'm sure we could probably trade some some knowledge here real quick, and then.
Oh yeah. Okay,
I'd like to. I've offered, and I'd like to help Kate out with her little mortgage thing there from last year. Yet that have no problem going back and getting remedy on that. So we should definitely talk about that off air.
Yeah, we're gonna all talk together on that. It's gonna be amazing stuff. What I needed to do at the beginning of the show, guys, this is a disclaimer. It's no big deal. Anyway, anything I say, and this is for all the whiners that like to email because they can't handle the truth. Sorry, this is a disclaimer. Okay, get over it. Don't worry, you'll get over me. I did. All right. You made.
Oh, on again.
See.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. Anyway, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Disclaimer is this: anything I say or any of the guests that are on the show that are my friends, anything that we say belongs to us. And if you can't handle the truth, go find another station. We love you. We want you here to find the truth, and we're going to rattle your ego around the cage quite a bit until it actually falls off the face of the planet, because that's what we're looking for. We want to find you. So, is brought up on any outside this is, ad infinitum, ab initio. Okay, guys. Anything. It's this is our opinion, and we're actually allowed to have one. Apparently, everyone's got one of those, including something else that I don't need to speak of. So, yeah, we keep it light here. But anyway, so if you have any complaints or anything else, don't email anybody. You want to talk to anybody, you can email me direct. If you can handle it, please. I'd love to hear from you. KatieRenee@live.ca. And better be a good one, and it better be valid, and it better have a good argument behind it. I mean, not argument per se, but you know what I mean. So that being said, what you're about to hear is pure unadulterated truth for grown-up people with no mittens and strength.
Cool.
Disclaimer.
Oh, man, I better log out. I don't know if I can handle that.
Well,
Okay. Okay?
Gone again. Well, I guess other than that, before we get going, I'd once again like to thank the Turner Valley RCMP and the Fernie Sparwood RCMP for pissing me off enough this summer to become as public as I possibly and humanly could to make sure that they don't ever do this kind of stuff to anybody ever again. So, special thanks out to Officer Christie of the Turner Valley RCMP, who tasered my brother. Your criminal charges are pending and should be in the courthouse within 2 weeks, and there's about 30 of them, so I hope you enjoy them once they get filed. Other than that, let's move on.
I love you, man. Yeah, you know what's happening? We're into Scorpio, and you guys that like to walk around harming people because you think you've got protection of a fictional piece of paper, wrong.
Yeah,
wrong.
that and we found all the police bonds now. We now know where to go at the courthouse to get all the police bonds.
Oh, okay. Well, we have some time to do.
Those aren't safe anymore either.
Okay, and here's the good news, my friend, because I've got about 20 cops in Guelph that are going to need to have their asses handed to them.
Excellent. We're going to have to talk about that off show as well, too.
Oh, we're going to have some fun. We're going to peace with these guys. This is what they wanted. They chose to harm, so they want to experience that. The golden rule: do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Yep. I would never harm them, but if they've harmed me, they must want to be harmed. So I can't break the golden rule. That wouldn't be peaceful.
Well, I posted a while back that when I finally do file my charges, I have no problem withdrawing the charges on the condition that the other party agrees to make restitution for the damages. And a bunch of people got back to me and said, "Oh, dude, you're going to go to jail for extortion and uttering threats, because that's a frivolous claim if you withdraw it, trying to force them to pay you money." Well, I had a talk with the clerk about this, and I said, I just want to make sure that should the other party because I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys. I was just got back from Victoria in British Columbia, and I filed 56 criminal charges against 2 RCMP officers while I was out there.
Oh, look at you!
Yeah, that's going to be in criminal court within the next 2 weeks for a first hearing to get authorization for the warrant that I've asked for their arrest. I'm proceeding indictable. It's going to be a lot of fun. I made sure I asked the clerk. I said, okay, now should the other party choose to provide the restitution that's been asked for, there's no problem with me withdrawing these charges, right? She said, oh, absolutely not. I said, yep. I said, because the only reason I'm even coming to court is they refuse to settle. And she said, yep, that's absolutely not a problem. So for all those people out there that think that that's extortion or uttering threats, you really need to learn law.
You need to learn common sense.
And common sense, okay? That's not a threat. When I tell somebody I'm going to criminally charge you unless you pay restitution, that's not a threat. That is a promise.
Absolutely. You go and break someone's window. You got two choices. You can pay to have it replaced or fix it yourself back to the way it was, or I will have to get someone else involved here if you to mediate.
Exactly.
And that's all it is at this point. It becomes a case of mediation, not anything else. And that's where the balance comes in. Look at the scales just coming into Scorpio. Isn't it beautiful?
Yep. Oh, it's going to be excellent. I mean, now they got to be worried about not only losing their homes and their bonds from civil claims, but now these people have to start being worried about the fact that we've figured out how to perfect our own criminal charges. And what was necessary to perfect the criminal charges where people have gone wrong in the past is they never clarified their status.
Oh, isn't that
in
something?
The criminal charges, because then the courts can assume that the person bringing the charge is just a lowly bottom-rung trustee officer of the Crown who cannot bring a claim against a superior officer. So once you clarify your status at the beginning of the charge, who you are, they can't do that anymore. You're closing every door but the one you want to leave open.
That's sad for them.
Oh, it's terrible, I know. They probably were hoping we never figured that out, but unfortunately they tased my brother and pissed me off enough that I felt it necessary to figure that out this summer, so... Once again, my special thanks go out to Officer Christie for admitting that he's quite certain that tasers kill people before he pulled the trigger, so attempted murder is one of the charges, too.
Yeah.
We have Mandreas.
Yeah, that's not a light charge. That's actually, in many cases, worse than a murder charge.
Yes, because the intent was there. It wasn't involuntary. You knew that it might kill the person before you did it.
So you might want to put that taser away there, Johnny Longarm, because they do kill. We have too many cases of people getting killed with them.
Yeah, well, there's 3 affidavits of witnesses aside from the victim, and he was seen waving the taser in the person's face, right in his eyes, threatening with it, all sorts of interesting things, and acting like a belligerent 8-year-old when no one would listen to him. So.
And I gotta make it very clear to people out there listening. This is not about getting vengeance, guys. This is going to peace. And until the 5-year-olds with their slingshots that are pinging the little girls in the face stones get educated, and sometimes it takes a bit of detention, after school kind of thing, to get that through. What else can we do? You try to reason with these children. And we have every encounter. I know you, Dean, and myself, and any encounter that I've ever had with these guys has always been peaceful, handshakes, and thank you very much, have a nice day. Even enduring, the rub-downs of sexual assault and all the rest of it, including the one officer, Craig Nye in Guelph, who forced me and my daughter through an intersection. So that's I've already put forth the notion a couple of times to these guys that that's attempted murder, and I will have him charged.
Willful endangerment, any number of those kind of charges,
The list will be long, and the chief, Rob Davis of Guelph, will be included in that because I know that Craig Nye, given the 3 encounters that I had with the Guelph police, was involved in all 3 of those. I mean, that's just a coincidence, right? 3 different parts of the city. It just so happened that he was the one that the day they kidnapped me again, took me to solitary. Gosh darn, if it wasn't Craig Nye himself that was the one that put forth the charges. So, boy, that's an awful expensive bond. I don't think the kid's going to have too much work in the future. Oh, he will, actually. I think they still make license plates in Kingston, right?
Well, maybe for a short time longer until we get everybody to stop using their plates, and then that'll probably go out of business pretty quick.
Okay, well, then they'll have to go do something like laundry or something like that. So.
Excellent. I've been saving a sack full of underwear just for them.
Just kidding. Just kidding. No, I'm not. No. Anyway, so listen, and you know what? Here, listen to the energy that we're conveying here. If anyone can feel anger or vengeance in anything we're saying, you're out of your tree, because this is the moment we've all been working for, not waiting for. We've been working for this moment to bring back the balance of peace, love, truth, and honor. And if those that are supposed to be in charge of taking care of that cannot do that job, then we have to correct them. You know, that's our duty to ourselves and to our family, which is everyone on this planet. That includes military, everything else, right? This is about going to peace. And if they don't get it on the first pass, they'll have plenty of time to think about it while they're mopping floors and doing laundry. And gosh darn, maybe a little stint in solitary for, say, 28 days. No, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I really wouldn't.
No, in fact, I even, if I showed you guys how many letters I sent off to the Fernie RCMP now, pleading with them to provide me with the restitution that I demanded, which was a very, very, very small amount. It was actually the return of the property that they still have, and an apology letter. That's it.
Oh, my goodness.
They couldn't even do that, and I said, please, I don't want to have to fly out there and file all these criminal charges and possibly end your careers and take your bonds and cause a lot of problems for you guys. Just return the property. That's all you have to do. There's probably about 8 of those correspondences. Nothing, just crickets chirping. They just they can't do it. They just can't.
You know, and that's the thing too. You want to talk about the height of arrogance, and there's probably a couple of guys thinking, you'll never fly out here, screw them, and they're all sitting around drinking their beer, talking about the last guy they beat up and tased.
Yeah.
Well, different story now. It's a different game.
Well, I have the 7 pages of criminal charges each right here in front of me, sworn before the JP in Victoria, British Columbia. Actually, I just called there today to find out the progress on that because I got to get a file number, and they have to set up a initial hearing for me to go out there to go before a Superior Court judge to get a warrant properly the way they're supposed to do it. But don't to make this very, very bad.
Ironclad.
Yeah, and every time, like by the time this goes and I get warrants issued and I proceed indictable, it's going to cost even more money for me to withdraw because now I got even more time tied up in this.
And do you know what's really funny and ironic about all this? Here's the irony for all the people listening out there in Radio Land, and I know there are lots of you, tens of thousands. So listen up, guys. The irony, the dramatic irony of this. It leaves me breathless. Here we have people like us, average, everyday people, that know more about law, procedure, fairness, justice than any cop I've ever known.
Agreed.
You know, we've done our homework. Guys, don't mess with us. You have pushed us so hard for so long, and I am grateful for that because without that I would never have learned what I have. And in the mirror, I will reflect exactly that which you gave me to learn. And you get to learn the exact same thing I did, only difference being I wasn't out to harm you. I was out to help. And therein, the last come first, and the first, which you thought you were, come last. And I love the way you put that, Dean. They cannot charge a superior officer in status. And that's exactly what we are. And
we're superior to them, but the presumption is that we are an insubordinate because of our rank in the commercial system. Yep. And we've talked about the reason for that because we've never staked our claim properly. They don't know who we are. We've never corrected the record. Their record shows us as a lowly subordinate officer in the military, the lowest of the low, where even their traffic cops can order us around, and traffic cops are the janitors of the law enforcement world. I mean, even detectives don't like traffic cops. They think they're just like the janitors of the police force.
Well, they're the dogs. They're the ones that go chasing cars for treats.
Yeah, and even those guys get to order us around. So that's how low we are that we're seen on the totem pole, which is why you never have a claim against these people. If you join the military and you're a private the first day in the military and a superior officer walks up to you and slugs you in the face as hard as he can, you have no claim against that man. You cannot file criminal charges against him. You could probably go to some kind of a military tribunal to see if you've got some restitution or if he would get in trouble. But that's it. You have no rights in the identity they presume you are.
Yeah, Dean, just carry on. I'm going to screen a couple of calls here, and just carry on, okay?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that could be something to maybe elaborate more on this week. I don't know what you guys normally talk about here or nothing, and feel free to cut me off and change the subject, but people have to understand that that's what they're viewed as when they pull out a driver's license.
Yep.
when they get pulled over and you pull out your registration papers, you are seen as an officer up here in Canada, as an officer of the Crown. And the same thing down in the United States. You're seen as an agent of the Corporation of the United States.
Franchisee,
and you're the lowest ranking officer that exists, which means you have to do anything any superior officer tells you to do. And that's why when people try to say, I don't have to identify myself to you, or I have rights, or whatever, no, you don't. Okay? You have no rights because you've produced evidence that demonstrates that you're an agent of that corporation, and that's the driver's license. It's not proof. It's evidence that helps demonstrate that you are.
And Dean, let me cover what ties in that contract, and I've covered this before. Basically, first of all, nobody reads the dadgum DMV contract. It says you're a vessel in commerce right on the front page. I read it myself. That's why I waylaid getting one. And they complete the contract by having a tontine policy, i.e. an insurance policy, and then they have a registration on the vehicle. So you complete the three things that need to be met. Notice it's in threes. And you completed the circuit so that they can send you to circuit court. It's all good. You have no rights. You are the slave on the plantation, literally.
There you go. So, and that's the interesting thing with, especially out in BC, why the RCMP there, they were claiming to be enforcing the British Columbia Motor Vehicle Act, saying, well, I didn't have a valid, what they recognized to be insurance plate. But when they took the truck, they couldn't issue a notice of seizure because they had no authority to take something that didn't have one of their plates on it. So they broke the same act they were claiming to be enforcing because Article 5 or Section 5 of their BC Motor Vehicle Act, I looked it up, says that they must issue a notice of seizure when they take property. Well, they didn't do that. So how is it they're enforcing an act but breaking it at the same time, as well as every other law that exists above that supersedes that act as well? So it's all horseshit. It's all horseshit.
You know, I love it. I love this show because we deal a lot in animals, about getting trying to get the poop back in horses, trying to get the poop back in elephants. You know, don't anyone ever say that Outside the Box isn't environmentally friendly. We are. We talk about manure all the time, and you know that's really good for the soil. So. Oh,
it's the best fertilizer there is. The more shit they deal me, the more fertilizer I get from my brain, and the more I grow as a person.
Isn't it great? You know. Yeah, I knew Peter would laugh at that. Keeping it light tonight, guys, and you know, just a bit of a reiteration for people. We now have a means to track down their bonds, to make them accountable, and it is about status, and that's something we've been talking about for 2 months now, Peter. Like hardcore. We know how to track these guys down, and we know the status and how to deal it, and there's a lot of other things. So I see a lot of beautiful things on the horizon for people that have been so badly mauled and injured by these guys, where we can start to bring things back into balance. This is not about going to war, and I need to keep saying that. This is about putting it back to balance and upholding the golden rule.
Yep. Oh, and I guess maybe another update I'll make that I actually cannot and will not get into particulars about is the commercial liens do, in fact, work. They work very well. They work terrifyingly well.
Oh, look at all the new best friends we have, Dean.
Yes. I think that's probably why they were arresting some people down the States, people that were leaning judges.
Yeah.
And probably rightly so. Well, yes and no. Yes and no, because again, if you haven't corrected the record and you're still seen as a lowly private in the military, you have no rights. So you may want to make sure you've corrected your status before you go around and start leaning people of presumed authority, because then you actually have the authority to issue that lien. But that lien really does fuck with them when you send it to the right place.
Oh, I love it.
Okay? It's been concealed. It's there. And as soon as you do it, they are, in fact, fucked until they settle that lien.
Good. That's what we need. We because look at how many times that these guys walk around willy-nilly. Things like the IRS and CRA and all these other little alphabet companies that like to walk around and place liens on people's homes with no flesh and blood behind it. It's all corporate, and this is why we've been railing on this for so long, guys, with regards to knowing who you are. And until then, Dean has it absolutely correct. Peter has it absolutely correct. Until you know who you are, you have nothing to complain about, because you're standing there screaming like a 5-year-old in kindergarten for the first day, not really knowing who you are. So what it really gets down to is a little due diligence, a little paying attention, and it's not that difficult. It really isn't. I'd say I started out on this hardcore about 3 years ago. I'm the newbie in the club, okay, guys? I made my dent fast and furious, and boy, did I ever. Well, I only measure that by the way they came at me, so that's the only way I know I was doing something right. We've come such a long way, and what we've done, and I look at people like Dean, and I look at people like Peter, and so many others that have been Mark Hollywood, that have been so in depth into really tearing these things apart. And these are the guys, and I've found a few needles myself, but these are the guys that are walking through these never mind the haystack, they're walking through fields of hay, looking for these choice little perfect nuggets of truth, where they can get the big picture put together and hand it to you in a silver platter. And my best advice to you is pay attention, because if you don't pay attention, you're paying tax in all forms.
Ooh, hey, that's catchy. I like that.
Well, hey, I'm the cunning linguist, remember?
You better copyright that one. That's nice. You're either paying attention or you're paying tax. That's sweet.
Yeah, well, take it. Everything I say belongs to the universe. I claim nothing. I'm just a conduit. I don't own a thing. Not even the words I say. It belongs to everyone.
Oh, we gotta change that. We gotta get you a claim in against your person. That'll change a lot of things for you.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, you know what, Dean? You know me. Play? Okay. Where's the playground today?
Yeah. Well, we don't own anything the Creator created. Our Creator.
Exactly.
We're all equal there, and we're just mankind, right? That's women and men.
Yep.
But when it comes to commerce, that's something that man created. Therefore, we do own all that, because it's all legal fictions. It's just two-dimensional fictions, and we do control those monopoly pieces, and we have to start learning how to do that. It's two completely separate worlds, and people have to learn to distinguish that when they're going to walk into court.
Yep, it's the as above, so below. You're putting it better than I can in terms of explaining the fiction versus the ethereal. And this is where, in terms of divine province, where when you start to know who you are and changing your status, and that's exactly what divine province is all about, is it's a door to changing that status into something that is not the lowly private that's getting their face smashed in by the lowly sergeant that just outranks him and no more. By the way, I had a phone call from my private bailiff buddy, and I had another little victory today. So there's nothing but wins lately, guys. Nothing but wins, and it's just doing. He did exactly what we've been talking about in dealing with Crown prosecutors directly, and boy, they get nervous real quick.
They're all starting to learn, fortunately, and that was one of our goals from the start too. Is we realized that just as ignorant as we were, the police were just as ignorant as well, and they're starting to learn. And a lot of them are starting to figure out that they actually don't have the authority that they thought they did, and that they were taught that they did at their little police training cults.
Yep.
And they're starting to get worried.
And they should, and I know firsthand experience. There's not many, but I know that there are very, very, very good, honorable people within the police forces that are highly outnumbered by these commissioned, go-get-'em dogs that like to chase people for money, tickets, and quotas and stuff like that. And so this is to be fair. Okay, this is not about bashing all. Okay, unfortunately there are more than one bad apple in every barrel. There, it's more like most of the barrel is rotten, but there are some beautiful beings that are exactly the kind of people we need. Where they are doing the job they're doing from the perspective they're doing it. And I will give a story with regards to Guelph. The deputy chief, Brent Eden, when he found out, and of all things, by the nature of my being, I found it's amazing what hairdressers talk about, estheticians and whatever, especially when the deputy chief's wife is one of their clients. Anyway, so the bottom line is this. Brent, when he found out what was really going on, he went into serious depression. And that's a guy that he spent 3 years minimum to get his retirement, and it was very, very lowly in terms of what he could have got, and he walked out. Now that being said, that's someone that's got the honor, and I do know that they're outnumbered, but he still has an obligation. If you know the truth, by omission or commission, you must stand.
You know what? That was a problem I heard even as much as a year ago. A couple of people in the UK were telling me that when some of the cops and the forces of some of the localities where they lived in the UK found out and woke up to what was going on, they resigned. And I'm going, no, why would you do that? If you wake up, if you're a cop and you wake up and you realize what's going on, you realize that everything that you're doing is wrong and that this is all corrupt and crooked, we actually need you people to stay in there.
Exactly.
And do something about it.
You don't run away from it. I mean, why exactly? I mean, if your whole objective was to, get rid of crime, and there you are witnessing it. And I do understand the Serpico effect of, being, badgered by your, thin blue line buddies, part of the cult. And again, it's there's your gang mentality. There's your ostracized kid in the playground mentality that is pervasive throughout the law enforcement and the different cults. I mean, I got to tell you, the ones that I came across back and forth to the court in Guelph, the OPP, they like to shackle your legs and arms and all the rest of it, right?
Sounds hot.
What's that?
Sounds hot.
Oh yeah, well, we'll talk. You're married. Shut up. Anyway, you know what I mean though, and I'm seeing all these. They're walking around, and I remember this one lady, had to be a grandmother, walking around in the OPP garb and whatever, the short haircut and everything. And when I looked at her, all I could see was her on a Sunday afternoon, making cookies with her grandkids around Christmas and laughing and playing and all the rest of it.
Okay, you went quiet there, Kate.
Oh, okay. Hey, Tony, why don't you jump in for a bit, man? We never hear enough of you.
Actually, I was actually going to comment on what you were talking about earlier. I was typing it into the chat box as you were talking. But I've had top cops on the show that have actually realised what the extent of the damage that's been done and actually resigned. I mean, one woman that was in the Yorkshire force was basically being irradiated by the Tetra system, and she got cancer. And then she tried to actually alert her own people to the fact that the radios that they're using are killing them. It's a bit like, the vaccines that the doctors are giving them are doing the same to them and their children. And it's all these other factors that, they need to get their heads around. It's not just the legalities of the system that's corrupt. It's actually what's going on behind the scenes. Everything from GMO to blooming Codex Alimentarius, Agenda 21, all of this stuff is being done to you guys, and you daft people are helping to enforce it and make it worse. I mean, crikey, get it.
Well, and they're being used and abused and thrown in the front lines to carry this all out, which means that they're expendable, obviously, and they should take offense to that, of being used and having their life put in jeopardy for this fraud, for this giant scam.
Yeah, that's the irony of this too. They got those that think they're doing the good job out killing themselves. And that is the unfortunate thing, because they are treated as expendable. And this is why I'm asking people to look at both sides of the coin here. Not only are they creating harm against those around them, they are getting treated with this electronic poisoning that is literally killing them in return. And so, I mean, this is a no-win situation for mankind. Has us completely divided, bickering amongst ourselves, while the very few that are running this game sit back and have a good giggle at us. I think it's time for us all to stand together, eh?
Well, if we want to make things, if we want to make everything a better world, I suppose so. Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to live in peace, and I think they kind of want to live in peace. And I think there's an incorrect belief out there that without these rules and laws and regulations, that there would be anarchy, or like the minute there. I just talked about this on another show there down in Texas on Sunday, that we both all agreed, that all four of us agreed that, to be honest with you, it seems to be like if there was no actual law on the books that said you can't rape somebody, that people would go, oh man, it's not a crime anymore? All right, woo, and we all go rape someone. Like, that's not the way things work. You look at all these countries, and somebody had brought up Portugal on Sunday. I think it was Portugal that's decriminalized just about everything. And crime has absolutely plummeted in that country because they just started leaving people alone. You don't just run out and start murdering and raping because there's no law in the. It's still a crime to do that, but we don't need all this horseshit legislation. It's nonsense.
It's all money.
It's all money.
That's all it is, and the sooner we get rid of this, like, forget who it was, a Greek said it, but the more numerous the laws, the more corrupt the nation, and that is such a true thing. And I guarantee if you did some research on it, as the number of police increase in any given area, crime rises proportionately higher because of it.
Well, of course it does, because they're also passing more laws, which are making more things a crime. How the fuck does crime not go up when you do that?
Exactly, and this is the point. They're talking about what we need to get an extra 250 cops in Toronto. No, you don't.
Yeah. And then when they can show the crime rates going up, they can use that as an excuse to say, oh, we need more cops, there's more criminals. Yeah, no kidding, there's more criminals. You made breathing illegal.
Yeah, and here's something else, too, with regards to that. Making more and more laws. Sorry, clearing my throat here. When you're making more and more laws, you're perpetuating the same issue, because I'm trying to get this across to people. So when the ratios of cops go up, so do the rates of crime, because they got to pay for those cops. But here's what I challenge everyone to do with that in mind. Go to the police board of your city, jurisdiction, or municipality, or whatever, and go and check to see the crime stats. You won't find them, but what you will find is the ledger sheet, how much money they made. They don't talk about how many crimes got solved. They talk about how much revenue was created in parking and in speeding and in, you name it. So it's got nothing to do with a safe community. It's got everything to do with money.
And that's the front-end funds. They're not showing you about the second set of books sitting in the back room called the CAFR accounts. I mean, you got to love it because they're making it on the bonds because they drafted you for performance. You signed an unencumbered signature, gave over. They drafted it on the documents and made a nice pile on with your beneficial interest.
Yeah, it's
again they got everybody coming and going. You're not only paying, but you're not discharging, and they're binding you up, i.e., in the back room with your standard form 24, 25, 25A, your 273, 4, and 5, and your standard form 28, and they're having a field day. They are plundering the prize ship. They are sinking your ship at every turn.
Yeah, they're billing the crap. I've actually got the legislation that proves that what they're doing is that they're billing your estate for all this. Like, people think that hiring all these police and putting you in jail actually costs money. No, it doesn't cost money. In fact, that's how they make money, because everything belongs to the people. I think that we've covered this ad nauseum. I don't know how many times I've told people, no, it all belongs to us. We own it all. Nothing is owned by the government. It's all held in trust in our name, in our person. and it's all secret private accounts. And so every time they come up with a criminal charge against your estate, they're authorized to go in and take the damages out, the money value of the charge.
Yeah,
and when they throw you in, and when they throw you in prison, they're billing your estate the $1,000 a day that they're charging, and it costs them $300 to keep you in there. They're making $700 plus per day that you're in prison.
Yep.
So that might explain all the people doing 5 and 10 years for daring to smoke something that grew on the earth. How dare God create a plant that man knows is illegal?
Well, again, but the problem is now that's different jurisdictions, right? We're claiming a God-given right, if you want to call it that, whereas they've turned that into a man-made commercial crime. The two jurisdictions cannot see one another. Unequal things cannot be put together, right? So that's why you have to correct your status. You have to be seen as something that has that right.
Yep, and that's what's happening with the Divine Providence. They're getting the memo. It's beautiful. No longer USA Inc., bro. That works for me.
Finally.
I love it. It's really working.
Man. We just had a 3-hour one on Sunday about that. I was just talking about that, about making Americans realize that when they made application to vote in a democracy, they changed the record and they moved themselves out of the constitutional republic into a corporate democracy.
Right.
And they
body
don't have
politic
rights
under the 14th
anymore.
Amendment. Exactly.
Now,
You're under the body politic 14th. Hey, they've been calling my house. I have fun, brother. Hey, I want to just digress on this for a second. Because I have never voted. I've never been on the public rolls. I'm not in the public on that game. And they call my house, and I have some real fun. I says, apparently you folks didn't get. They call, and this is my dialogue. You got to love me because I got love, but I show them a different type of love. And I said, you know what? I didn't give you my consent nor my permission. If my name's on your list, cross it off. You ever call me again, we're gonna have problems. And they don't call me back. Go figure. Because this is the voting season, and they got these people trolling, these dialers trolling through all the. And matter of fact, I had 2 come up on my porch that were bringing their swill to my domain, and I didn't give you my permission or my consent. We were going to discuss this. I just said, not in that system of records. Y'all have a great day. Move on. My permission to be on my porch. Have a great day. My wife said, why are you so mean? I said, no. I said, sweetie, I don't buy the swill. I didn't give permission to come to my house to sell the swill. You see what I'm saying? I'm not in commerce with these clowns at the circus, and I'm not part of the body politic. I'm not a franchisee anymore.
Oh, man, were you ever nice to them? Well, that would have been a different conversation had that been my house.
Yeah. I tried to have some etiquette. My kids were in the house, so but my wife she browbeat me, and then she told me she's going to go vote. I says, "What are you, an idiot?" I mean, this is whatever. I've been trying to bang her head for 28 years. She still don't get it.
Yeah, geez. I would have said, dude, when you guys entered my driveway, you left the holy sea of commerce, and you entered the law of the land. You're on dry land right now, and you got about 5 seconds to get back on that public street before I exercise my rights according to the law of the land, and you're not going to like that very much. Yep.
Oh yeah, they browbeat but the public on a whole, they still haven't got the memo, brother. They're not anywhere near where we're at. So it's going to take a little while longer when they figure out that doesn't matter who you vote for in the corporate body politic. It's a screw job every which way to Sunday.
Well, it doesn't matter whether or not the employees are allowed to vote for a new supervisor. Corporate policy is not affected by that.
That's right.
And if you want to affect corporate policy, only the shareholders can do that. And the shareholders are the people who live in the republic.
Yep.
I mean, shit, Kate, you not remember a year and a half ago, I was trying to tell people that the national debt that the American government owes is a debt owed to the republic, to the people. The democracy borrowed on the credit of the people through the international bankers. That money is not owed to those bankers. The bankers are collecting it for you. It's owed to you. They just get a fee for doing it.
Yeah, again, it's about trusts and, putting the fox in charge of the hen house.
Right. But I want to reverse this a little bit further, D. You talk about the republic, and that's the other sham under the crowd. too. The Republic was only for the 50 states, and it didn't apply to the people. They weren't a party to the Constitution. So therein lies another problem. I have some excellent documents I would love you to read from the Informer that will get your mind right on this Republic bullshit, too, because that's all that is. That's another scam that they perpetrated upon the masses. The Republic never existed in a capacity to apply to the people. It was just a place to put the little bastards in their box on the other side of the fence, and that's my line in the sand. You stay in your land. That applies to your fiction or whatever. Your Republic applies to those on that who are in that body politic. And if you were a free, unencumbered man back then, you didn't traverse. They just snuck all the other crap in to have you come into corporatism. But even under the Republic, brother, it didn't apply then either. It was still under the crown, and I could prove it to you. I could prove it to you in writing.
I would say that the Republic doesn't exist for you until you voluntarily join it, and you do have the right to voluntarily join it. In fact, you did when you filed your live birth record, when you deposited it with the Republic, and that basically gave that branch of the government the authority to leverage your birthright, your share of all the assets of the country, right? So that is there.
Right.
It's a useful tool.
Yeah.
It's a useful tool to use, right? Because, again, we're born free. You're not born into a republic. And then everything from there is contracts that we enter into. And our parents decided that they were going, because they're our guardians and they have administrative authority for us, they're going to deposit our birthright for our protection into this republic, which is more like a holding company.
Hey, brother, it goes deeper than that. Take a look at the damn birth certificate. It's got your mother's maiden name. She gave you over. Daddy didn't step in and make the claim. So guess what? You're a bastard child of the fiction corporation. You're not even. Daddy don't even own you no more because Daddy turned his back. He didn't know that his mom was given over in her maiden name. I mean, these are the 2 and 2 things that people don't even have a clue about. Now, I have a birth certificate bond. I'll show you. It's got a separation between my father and my mother by double-bordered lines and separating the two entities. And now there's no daddy present because he laid over. He didn't say dick. Anyways, sorry.
Well, let them make that claim. If you actually brought an equitable claim against the government, are they going to show up and actually try to use that as a defense? I would love to see that.
Well, you know what, hey, brother, I just cut the Gordian knot. It's 10 times easier for me. I don't even have to play that game no more. It's all done. You just cut the damn Gordian knot, brother. It starts with the landed estate, your birth certificate bond, and you move forward, and as long as you have a nation state to come to, you can't be a man without a country. Otherwise, you've left your filet mignon on the plate for the vultures to eat.
Yep,
it's really simple. Simple business decision, brother. This is just an administrative business decision that I did.
There you go. It's all administration. That's why people always ask me, well, what do I do? And I'm like, I don't know. What do you want to do?
Yep.
You have to have a goal in mind. Everybody's going to have a different solution. Or I wouldn't mind sticking around and playing in their game a little bit until I've made my point.
Right.
I'm the one that's the equity when it comes to the name. So, if you what's the proper word I'm thinking about here? Translate that into corporate law. What do they call the guy who owns 100% of the shares in a company?
Crook. I don't know. I don't know. That's all I can think of.
Basically, yeah. But when it comes to positions of authority within a corporation, that every word that if you got one shareholder that owns all equity within a corporation, every word that person speaks is the law when it comes to that corporation. So he's basically God within that organization.
Yep.
Right.
That's what they call a sole proprietorship.
There you go. Corporation soul. And it turns out that's what the Pope is. That's what the Queen is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, S-O-L-E, not S-O-U-L, but it's got a parallel, does it not?
Exactly. Yep. It's a sole corporation. It means it's got one sole equitable owner and one sole administrator administrating everything. And that's the only way you're going to get your free will recognized is that it's the will of the shareholders. So if you own 100% of the shares in your person, then your will has to be carried out with regards to that person. So that's how you transfer your free will through to commerce.
Here's the other irony, Dean. This is why I'm loving what's going on tonight, because what we're dealing with here effectively are constructive trusts that have been built around us. And I know Dean is a tradesman. I'm a tradesman. many, many years of demolition and rebuild. And that's what we're doing. While Divine Province is building the new, there are some of us out here that are going to be tearing down the old. We got to make way for the new.
That's what contractors do. When you build a new house, you got to make sure you got a nice, clean place to start building again, right?
We got to get a nice, clean white canvas, and we'll take care of the canvas and make sure everyone gets home.
Yep.
Cool.
Well,
as above, so below.
Dean, did you get your big cup? You didn't get my analogy until I pointed out to you, did you?
No, I completely did not, actually. Yeah, I think that's some southern some southern stuff down there that doesn't translate.
That's a Navy vernacular, brother. It's all good. In pipe fitter vernacular, you know, they get the message when they start blathering on. I ask them if they had their big cup yet, and they say, "What do you mean my big cup?" And then I tell them their big cup, and you know what? And then they just get, what? Anyways, I had fun with it, brother. It's all good.
Oh, good. And
I'm a pretty serious guy, eh? So.
Yeah, well.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get you snapped in, brother. You come over to my side of the fence. I'll give you some Yankee stuff you'll love.
Well, I already know you're not talking about beer now because I've had American beer, and I can tell you guys got a little ways to go on that yet.
Just a little.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, and I got to tell you, speaking of the future, I was talking with David Down Under, and he's done a bunch of jamming with Santo and you know, musicians, right? And what I said to David last night was a beautiful resonation. I just want to pass this along to everyone. I just want you guys to imagine what it would be like to have all of us that have been doing all this work for so long just gather on a beach in Australia and just have a party for a week. Does that sound good or what?
I would say so.
I think, you know, this is the beach I've been talking about. I'll see you at the beach, and we're gonna get there, and we're gonna have it. You know, I see such a beautiful world coming. We're already creating it, and that's what we're doing right now. And everyone gets to play and show and tell here. We're all in kindergarten. We need you to come up to the front, and we need you to bring your toy with you, and we need you to tell us about it. And that's your special gift of what you can bring to the table. It doesn't have to be anything major. One of the things we started, Dean, and this is kind of fun. It's people are having fun with it. Is every time people sign stuff now. If you listen to last Wednesday's show with Patrice talking about the money order, she boxed a signature, and because she boxed her signature on the money order when she endorsed it, she killed the document dead, and they literally had to go in the back and pass around the hat to get her $300. That piece of paper was garbage. So we got people, you know, just boxing everything, boxing the signatures on the bills, boxing signatures on.
Oh, they ganked you, Kate. You gotta love it.
Nice.
Don't talk about boxing signatures. Oh, hey, we know when we're hitting the hot spot. Yep. They tried boxing us in our box, but we're outside the box. So
box the signature every time, because most people don't know what it means, but when they go to try to use that negotiable instrument somewhere, the signature has been removed from the body of the document. It has no value. You qualified that signature. It's not open anymore. They can't continue to renegotiate that instrument. It's done.
Very good. Hey, my brother did it in the Navy, brother, to get off a ship. Let me share my little story, Kate, with Dean on my brother on the ship.
Perfect.
This is, I just got this last week. He called me up in the middle, after a show, and he says, I used that box deal when I was trying to get off ship. He had gotten railroaded on about 18 charges. He was a real go-getter, and he actually expected his sailors to work, and the female sailors really thought that, PMS and all that crap was the logical excuse instead of having to work. So they all got together, clucking their tongues, and they created charges against him. He beat all the charges, but his name was besmirched, So he says, what, I can't stay here. And so he went to the Master Chief, an E9, and the E9s know this, but the lower ranks don't know it. And this Master Chief told, because he was an E6, which is a first class, and he says, well, if you really want to get off the ship, he goes, you put in your request chit, C-H-I-T, not S-H-I-T, and it's actually a document that gets approved or disapproved, goes up the chain of command, and he actually put his request chit in a red box, a quarter inch from the borders all the way around the words, and became a closed box. It bypassed all the middlemen, went straight to the captain, and he was off that ship in 14 days.
Lovely.
And but matter of fact, another chief came to him. He goes, "How the hell did you know that? We haven't talked about that stuff for about 40 years." So, hey, brother, hey, for all my Navy brothers out there, just box it in, baby. It's all good.
And Dean, based on what you just said there too. Again, I'm looking for the rationales in all of this. It makes perfect sense in why when you box not only your signature, you take it off the page by boxing it so nobody can remove it and use it in another form. And I talked about the passports and why your signatures are boxed in the application, because they don't want to commit international fraud by having that document that is an international document monetized. So what they do is they get you to put it in the box, but when it goes onto the passport, of course, it's lifted out of that box and put on a passport. And quite frankly, that to me is international fraud. Because one, the box that was on the application form removed it from the application, and from that point on, it became an assumption to put it on the passport. But my explanation for that, what you were saying, Peter, with the box in the whole document, was you made that document inaccessible to be changed or altered in any way because you framed it, basically, right? Look at that, framing a house. There we go. But there's that framing thing again. Okay. Yep. And then what I've suggested to people is to become the bearer of the passport again, and just put a box around your signature on the passport.
Yep. Well, and then down in the United States and in Canada, I know the U.S., when they pull you over and they give you a traffic ticket, they force you to sign it. Make sure you draw that box first.
Right.
And then sign it.
Because if you sign it first, they take it right away from you. They'll give you the copy, and there's no box.
Yep, draw a box, sign, and then don't ever show up ever again for anything. Don't even answer to anything. Because your signature is just, you say, well, I'm sorry, do you have a document with my signature on it? Well, no, they don't. That's your only reply. I'm sorry, do you have something you have a contract with my signature on it? Oh, no, you don't. Sorry, okay. Did that in Canada, too. I told a couple people they were going in to fight traffic tickets, and I said, well, if you look at the traffic ticket, the cop signs in a box. So when you walk in there, say, well, I don't understand what's going on here because this ticket is unsigned. And they'll bring it out and they'll be like, well, no, there's a signature right there. I don't see a signature.
Cool.
I'm sorry, I don't see a signature.
Yeah, so what I would start to suggest to people that get any form of ticket, just the first thing they check for is if there is a box, just take it in and say, I can't deal with this, there's no signature on it.
Yep, this is an unwitnessed document. There's no signature on here. There's no complaining party.
And actually, I want to find out who did it because that's litter. They littered on my car, and what is it? $300 fine in certain areas.
Yep.
Yeah, you might as well. You might as well hold these to task. And here's the thing, it doesn't take many of these for the ones that are actually doing it unknowingly for them to finally get it and go, wait a minute, I'm not doing that anymore because. The simple truth is, if they've signed it, they're liable. Yes.
I would love for this to get to the point where they start getting terrified
of handing tickets out.
Or even pulling people over. Oh, is this going to be one of them?
Yeah. Well, look what happened in the early days, Dean. How many times did you get pulled over? I've had it like 5 times. You get pulled over by one, and as soon as you have any sense of knowing what you're doing, the next thing you know is you got 3, 4, 5 cruisers. I mean, I think I know I hold the Guelph record for number of cruisers. It was 15 at my house that day that I went back home.
Well, that's because you refused to acknowledge their authority.
Authority.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Cartman.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
And we don't tolerate that up here in Canada. You will respect my authority.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Okay,
well,
cheesy puff.
Hey guys, this is really good information. I like this. Yay. And I do have a little bit of mouth speak down here, and I can pass a message on to everybody.
Yeah, And here's the thing, and this is one of the joys I love about doing this show, especially with you guys and every guest I get on, is it goes at such a beautiful. It's not a matter of fact sort of thing, but we get the point across, and I like to say that it is entertaining too. We have fun getting the truth out. And really, people have just got to lighten up a little bit and just play a little. Go and do the show and tell. Don't be so shy. Don't sit with the rest of the children. Dare to stand up because there's a bunch of us up here showing off our Tonka trucks and Barbie dolls that we're not fighting over. We're sharing them.
Yeah, no, come on up.
Please, we're
there's
here.
No question there.
You know, the path, the yellow brick road is there for you if you want to walk it. We're all standing at the end of it going, come on, come on. It's not a minefield. We already cleared those. Come on. And it box your signature. Just start doing that on your credit card sign-offs and stuff. Because every time you sign off on a credit card or one of those slips, or a debit or in the bank or whatever, a receipt for getting a withdrawal. Do you believe this shit? I couldn't believe that. And I worked at the bank years and years ago. You know, now they actually make you get a debit card. I haven't been in a bank in, year and a half, 2 years now. But anyway, when you would do a debit withdrawal, they would actually get you to sign for it. And when you stop and think about that, look how many times just signing.
They're rehypothecating that damn signature again.
You know, so stop signing shit. So I don't need to sign it. And, you know, my attitude is this, and has been for quite a while. Somebody says, have you got any identification? And cops hated this about me. But anyway, I said, well, you can't see me? I'm standing right in front of you.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, why do you need a piece of plastic for me to tell you who I am? I'm telling you who I am.
A piece of plastic is more valid than my physical body right here in front of you?
Yeah, you know, here. I talk and walk and everything. Watch, I'll do a little jig for you.
Yeah.
You know? And
hey, guys, since we're telling secrets out of school, and there's another way to have some fun with these clowns at the circus. I'm going to share with you. It works very, very effectively as long as you know how to stand fast in it without arguing. You know, not going to get obnoxious or nothing like that. When they pull you over, and they want to do some commerce with you, some intercourse, you do have the capacity. Once he steps out of his car, he's now in his full commercial limited liability or his full commercial unlimited liability. And once he steps to your brow, i.e. your window, hey, the only thing you want to dialogue about, say, hey, I just need to see a copy of your hazard bond, the name of the underwriter of your bond, and when you bring that forward, I'll be glad to stand on my head and spit nickels. It's like sort of a conditional acceptance. You start asking for their bond right up front, or other they don't even want to talk to you. It's bye-bye. I'm serious as a heart attack because they're all flying without a net for the most part.
Well, here's an interesting admission for you based on that, is that my little altercation with the Fernie RCMP this summer, and this is on the audio. There's an hour and 45 minutes of audio I have yet to release. I recorded the entire thing. It was really interesting. But they admitted to me, when I said to them, I said, look, I said, you guys have no, how the hell did I phrase it?
No skin in the game?
Well, no, I started talking about them being I said, well, you pulled me over under the guise of a peace officer, but now you're acting as a law enforcement agent trying to conduct commerce with me, and I'm sorry to say, but you guys don't have any authority. In fact, what's stopping me from arresting you right now? I can place you under citizen's arrest. I have equal authority to you. In your highest office, you hold the same rank as me, and that's a peace officer. Yep. And the one guy actually thought about it and said, yeah, you're right.
Wow.
And that was the only thing that they knew that night that was correct. Because everything else they had to say was an hour and a half of horse shit coming out of somebody's mouth.
Yeah,
right.
And how many times have you seen it, especially on YouTube videos, how many times have you seen these cops walking up with all this supposed authority, like they know something, and they get up there and they start, barking, well, you can't do that because of this. And okay, well, what's the law? They make this shit up as they go along.
Man, I got a great one about that. A friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, my colleague in this, one of the few people I call my colleague in Saskatchewan years ago, was at a meeting, like a town hall kind of meeting with all the farmers there and stuff like that, and this cop got up and started blabbing about how he's a police officer and he knows the law, and if they have a questionable law, they're to ask him. And there's a couple of hundred farmers in this room, and so my buddy stood up and he said, yeah, I got a question for you. Could you tell everybody here what their 3 fundamental human rights are? Well, he just sat up there looking really stupid for a couple minutes and said, well, are you trying to tell me you don't even know what people's fundamental human rights are? There's only 3 of them. Do you not know those? Why don't you tell them what they are? And he couldn't even answer. The cop didn't know. He had no idea what your 3 fundamental human rights are: life, liberty, and property. That's it.
Yep.
And then he started making fun. He goes, dude, my 6-year-old kids know what those are.
And they're carrying cap guns.
Yeah. Well, then that's what I got into this summer too. When the one guy said that, when I quoted the Bill of Rights for him, I said, well, the law that you're enforcing right now, the statute, breaks this higher law, da-da-da-da-da, and this higher law, da-da-da-da-da, and this higher law, da-da-da-da-da, and is in complete violation of the Bill of Rights where it says this. They said, well, unfortunately, sir, the Bill of Rights is a piece of American legislation.
Oh.
This is on the audio. I'm going to release this yet. And I was flabbergasted for a couple of seconds. I actually had to recover. And then I thought he was kidding at first. And I said, oh, my God. I'm like, you didn't know that there's a Canadian Bill of Rights. I said, you weren't kidding. You actually don't know that there is a Canadian Bill of Rights. That's terrifying. I said, you just said that you know the law. You're a law enforcement agent. You carry a gun. And you didn't even know that there's a Canadian Bill of Rights? 1960, John Diefenbaker? You never heard of that? And I was shocked. I was actually surprised by that. I was like, you got to be kidding me. This guy didn't even know that there's a Canadian Bill of Rights, and he's a fucking RCMP. That was terrifying to me. I was like, you are actually incompetent. You are incompetent in your job if you didn't even know there's a Bill of Rights in Canada.
I think the other definition of that is a buffoon.
Yeah, I didn't want to get into that. That's on the video.
Know. That's the scary part, you know. And when I think back, I've got a couple of YouTube videos I still have to put up yet from before that Judge Bows when they tried to serve me. I got 2 out of the 3 fails on film. The one was the bailiff who actually was the assistant coach for my daughter's soccer team, who knew me by name. Went to every game, hung out, and hey, how's it going, Steve? Ironically, as fate would have it, this is the same individual that stood in my driveway that day on camera and said, "Well, you're not the person I'm looking for," and said that, and he knew what I was going through in the 28 days of solitary, and he said nothing. So I'll have a little chat about that with a few charges being filed. Just doing my job. I think that was what he said. And so did the other lead detective. So I'm going to just be doing my job, too.
Yeah.
You know, hey, sorry, guys, there's a crime going on. And, you can tell me you're trying to feed your family because that's all I was trying to do.
And when you've made someone aware of a crime, especially a peace officer, and they've done nothing.
Yeah, by omission or commission.
To either assist you or to help you, they're guilty.
Did I ever tell you about
guilty of the crime as if they'd done it themselves. Sorry, go ahead.
Did I ever tell you about my family bloodline? What the Thompson bloodline is all about?
Nope.
We were the lawmakers and the law keepers of Northern England, Southern Scotland, many years ago. That was kind of the family thing, and it was the Thompsons that brought the clans together and unified them. And one of the things that the family clan was noted for was if someone was seen to be had a crime against them, of course they'd be after the criminal. But if it was found that someone knew of the crime, witnessed it, and did nothing, they were hung immediately. The criminal got a trial. It was a worse crime to not help your neighbor than it was to hurt.
I could see worst case even though you may not have the ability to interfere at the time, to at least not come forward afterwards.
Well, exactly.
To report a crime that you witnessed that's heinous.
Yeah, again, and that's exactly where that came in. It's if someone was there, able, ready, and could have and didn't, that's when they say, oh, really? Okay, well, there's a tree, there's a rope, take care of business, and we'll take care of this guy. He gets a trial. Well,
funny, I made a post about that on Facebook there about 5 days ago because a story came out there about Iran hanging four bankers that caused a bunch of bank fraud there and really harmed their stock market and their economy. They just took them out in the street and hung them. Mm-hmm. I started laughing about that, and I said, well, shit, no wonder the United States hates Iran so much. They've actually got law right.
Yeah, they're taking care of business. If
they started practicing that in the United States of America, I mean, not only would 1 million New Yorkers be dead the next morning, but there'd be a boon in the hanging industry for about the first year, and then the stock market would probably return to normal, and there'd be jobs.
Well, there'd be lots of money in Canada, AAA pine for the boxes, and I'd say some of the nice cedar for building the gallows. Yeah,
man, geez, you'd appreciate this being a former builder. I went to go pick up a quote today for a project I'm doing, And holy shit, man, the price of OSB is $12 fucking a sheet.
You're kidding me.
No, it was $7 last year. Last time I went and picked up a really big order, $12 a fucking sheet for OSB.
I haven't been in the game for 3 years, and the last sheet of OSB I got was $5.
Yeah, and they're trying to say that there's no money in forestry. How in the fuck can there be no money in cutting down trees and making these products here in Canada instead of sending shipping containers off to China full of raw lumber when OSB is $12 fucking a sheet?
And what's even funnier about OSB, it's the sawdust.
It is. It's just the fucking chips left over after delimbing the tree.
I know. It's the garbage. The same thing with chicken wings, though. In the food industry, they used to throw chicken wings away. Now they're the most expensive part.
Oh my God! I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, I just came from the gas station where I paid $1.24 for a liter, even though oil's $85 a barrel. $85 a barrel for oil, but gas is still $1.25.
Yeah, it generally translates into whatever the dollars are translating into cents. And for all you Americans listening, that translates into $6 a gallon. Okay, so don't be crying about your 3 or 4 right now. Okay.
Well, no, but that's what their wars are for, right? Make sure that price stays down. So, I'm kidding.
I know. Yeah, it's okay. We had a disclaimer. We can ruffle feathers. It's okay.
Yeah,
that's what we're here to do.
Same thing on Facebook there about a week ago. I put a post on there at the same time as that one about Iran about what the price of gas in Venezuela is. Does anybody know what the price of gas in Venezuela is?
I think it's around anywhere from 7 to 10 cents a liter, something like that.
Yes. Yeah. It actually costs something like $7 to fill a Suburban. $7 to fill a Chevy Suburban, whereas that would cost probably $300 or $400 in the United States. No, in Canada. And that would cost $800 in the Netherlands. But it costs $7 in Venezuela. So, tell me again where all the expenses are with gasoline.
Yeah, well, it's all called margin, but Tony.
But enough ranting about that kind of stuff. So
yeah. Anyway, we're just kind of going outside the box today and bringing the real life together and looking at all the things that we can solve with free energy and what have you. I mean, we bring it all to the table here. This is about a brand new paradigm. This is about a brand new future.
Good.
And some of us have got a little work to do to tear the old. We got, I don't mind doing demolition. It was my favorite part. Walking in with a sledge and a sawzall, just have some fun. So I don't know about you, Dean, but I'm cool with that. While we clear the way for those that are getting their way home to their brand new status as diplomats at Divine Province.
Well, that's just it. Well, let's remove a little bit of fear here for people. People who are fearful to start stepping up against the government. From people that have been there. Whether you're right or wrong, and believe me, we were very wrong back in the day. You people have much better information than we had when we first started. We were very wrong. Believe us when we say the government cannot do very much to you. If the worst thing the government can ever do to you is throw you in jail for 20 or 30 days, life is not that bad. And that's not a very big price to pay for fighting for freedom these days. I mean, back in the day, they'd send an army out and they would destroy your entire they'd murder everybody. Your wife, your kids, your family, your cousins, your nephews. They'd absolutely liquidate entire villages and whole family names if you dared speak out against the powers that be or the rich or the elite. These days, it might cost you 30 days in jail to help change the world. They can't do much to you. You'll come out of jail actually after 30 days going, hey, that's not that bad. And actually, I kind of value freedom more now that I couldn't actually move around too much for the last 30 days, being told when I could piss and leave my cage and when I could eat. Now I understand what freedom really means.
Yeah, you get a better perspective.
Yeah, and it's the worst thing they can do to you. It's not that bad. There's never been a better time in history to fight for freedom, actually, free of liability.
Yeah, you can now speak out.
So come on out. It's fun. It was worse 10 years ago. Man, it's nothing now.
Yeah, a lot of the prices have been paid, and you're right, Dean. When we think back, you know me, I was looking to be wrong on everything. So that was my saving grace in finding truth because, in that approach of trying to be, find out, what is wrong, why am I wrong, why am I in dishonor, it helped me to refine things a lot quicker. Where
it turned out you weren't in dishonor, you just hadn't corrected your status. So
exactly.
They didn't give a shit about anything you had to say.
Exactly.
Yeah, you might be right, but you know what? You're the lowest rung on the ladder, so shut up.
Basically, yeah.
Yep.
But now that's all changed. There are things in place now that weren't in place, 6 months ago. Never mind years ago. And you've been, you've been in the game 15 years?
Yeah, I'd say seriously for 5. Before that was passive, but it was enough to get rid of CRA, like
that
permanently.
was my first start in 2001.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you like this? I got to go to a criminal investigation in the 4th floor of the CRA building here in Winnipeg last week.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that doctor that they arrested me walking into the courtroom to defend that time?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're back at her now, so she had me go with her to their new criminal investigation they've just launched for the last 6 years of filings. That lasted a minute and a half, and we were asked to leave.
You gotta like that.
Yeah, so the great thing about that is she's back, she's out of jail, and the whole problem was that years and years ago when she first got on the Freedom Train, she filed 0 owing returns and signed the returns, and that's what gets everybody. You can't sign that return and file 0 owing if you haven't got yourself out of the box yet. You're entering into a contract that's fraud, and you're going to go down for that, and that's exactly what happened. But now because they don't have any filings, they got nothing. So now it's a fishing expedition, and we went up there, and boy, well, again, I think I've told people in the past, some people try to say, oh, well, they just can't find you. Well, no, they had me there last week. I was in their offices, and they didn't really like seeing me very much. And, again, a criminal investigation lasted a minute and a half now. And, in fact, now we're initiating our own, and now we're going to hold a deposition, hire a court reporter, summons them to show up, and now we're holding our own criminal investigation. And we're investigating them.
Perfect. It's amazing how the mirror just starts to reflect back when we find that perfect centering zone.
Oh, just emulate them. Emulate what they do. Obviously what they're doing works.
Yeah.
So do it.
Yeah. I can't agree more. And I'm sitting here right now with this beautiful between the worlds of knowing what Divine Providence is all about and knowing exactly what you're talking about. And I see the as above, so below, and I see this beautiful demolition crew coming in to clear the way for this beautiful new building called Brand New Reality coming up. And we are moving into a new age. They cannot stop this. We knew that all along. That's why we came here to play. And even after everything that all of us have been through, and I know a lot of us have been through a lot, we're getting to that point now where we see the light, and it's because we're creating it, and we're breathing again, and it's we're not walking around in fear all the time. And I got to tell you, Dean and Peter, and I know those that have actually taken this walk out there and are making their stand now. Your stomach will be in knots, and it's like I said at the outset with the roller coaster analogy. Oh, I said that on a show earlier. It's the more times you ride the roller coaster, the more familiar it becomes.
Let me expand on that if you want, if I can, real quick.
Yeah,
because
please.
this criminal investigation just last week, it was great because they had the investigator handling the case that was there, and then they had like the lead or the head investigator, like the top guy at CRA for Manitoba, right, that's in charge of the criminal investigations. They showed me their badges and everything, and it was fucking hilarious. But they actually have little metal badges. I was making fun of it. I couldn't believe it. And they showed it to me, and I'm like, oh, can I see it? Well, you can look at it, but you can't touch it. Like they're fucking God or something. It was funny as hell. But anyways, so this guy starts reading off a piece of paper, the investigator, and you could, the same way that it used to be with me in court, the paper this guy was reading from was shaking so bad he could barely read off it.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there calm and cool as cucumbers looking at each other, and I'm looking at him, and I'm laughing, and I'm giving him the stare down. And these guys were shaking. His piece of paper was shaking at the edges.
Yeah, my first real experience with that was the Judge Bowes Day. And I do have the audio recording of it, and you can hear it in the guy's voice. He's the guy sitting behind the bar in the video. He ran away because I owned him first thing in the morning. But he was trying to get me out of the courtroom, and he's standing in the hallway, and he's shaking like a leaf. And you could see the frustration building because he knew he couldn't do a damn thing. And I wouldn't leave the courtroom. He was trying to get me out of the courtroom, out of the jurisdiction, and I wouldn't have been let back in. But I held the ground. That was a 7.5-hour day that day. It was beautiful. And I just wish I had that on. I have the audio of it, but I wish I had that in video, as well as the second interaction when we had to go to break, making sure that the ground was still mine and that he understood me, and yeah, he did. And yeah, it was quite a learning curve. Never expected to be what it is, but it is what it is. Anyway, carry on.
Get right in there, people. Enjoy it.
Exactly. Go and have some fun. I was just trying to clarify a mistake. There weren't even tickets involved. That was.
Hey, Kate.
Yeah.
Let me share something with you. I got a sweetie from California. She called me, and I said, because I like to be inventive. I use my brain. I actually use that thing that's 2 feet above my navel, and it's that lump, it's above my head. Anyways, we got to talking, and I said, let's have some fun, because she's pretty sharp. She's, she's college educated, but those are the ones that usually have the most problems with getting my concepts. But anyways, I said, let's have some fun. I said, I want you to go ahead and copy off all the bonds, and I want you to, because she wants to do it, she wants to do something in the mail. I said, I never do anything in the mail. I always do it in the face. But I says, she basically gave to me and said, well, I would just like to open the door so it mandates that I have to go in there physically to go settle the damn account. I says, you know what? That's a really good idea. So, we got some smart people out here who are paying attention. So I says, you know what? You're going to shake the tree because she's going to be asking for the hazard bond on the deal. And we know we're not going to get it, but this is about having some fun. And see, she gets my mind. And I says, you know what? This is a very good idea. That's called creativity, and I love it. I says, yep, and I want you to send the 24, the 25, and the 25A, just blank, so they really know that you know. I said, so anyways, so the ticket will get waylaid or kicked down the road or whatever. I said, sweetheart, we don't care if it gets kicked down the road because now you've got a purpose in life because now you can go take those blank documents and get your custom. Matter of fact, she's going to get her birth certificate bond at the same time. So you're going to go settle that account. But first we want to find out if we can find that hazard bond because we wouldn't want to be flying without a net. So she's already asking for that as well. I says, man, this is fun. I like this. I says, we can go and really have some fun because now she's asking for not only the crap they fill out in the back room, but she's asking for the damn hazard bond. I'm sure they'll disappear for the lousy $63 because she's touching upon a subject that you're not supposed to know about. So anyways, I told her to send it, and I says, let me know what the response is when they come back, because I know it's going to be they don't respond. But then you can get to go and do your FaceTime and really have some fun because nobody responded to your mail in kind. I said because they never gonna. I said but now it gives you a purpose in life to go through the side door and play whack-a-mole. This is great. I think it's beautiful.
And for those that really don't want to do that face-to-face sort of thing, and I know it's not comfortable for many. Here's just something, and this is testing the waters. And again, people say, well, what'll happen? I said, I don't know. Do it and see what happens. That's what we did. We just did
get
things.
Get a spine, people. Be inventive. Be creative. This is, you know what? Everybody's got to get their paradigm right, Kate. That's all it's about. This is fun to me. I mean, folks, this is really fun if you get your mind right. Because, hey, you're going in love and harmony to go settle the damn account. Now you got a purpose in life to go there because, hey, you're asking, they're not telling. Well, guess what? Now you got to go get some FaceTime. Well, damn it, man, I got to go get some FaceTime and settle this stinking account. Folks, this is fun time. Snap out of it.
What do people think is going to happen when they start asking questions? Like, are they going to pull out an Uzi
a taser
and blow your head off?
Well,
okay, no, they're not going to do that. Are they going to throw you in jail for the rest of your life for asking a question? No. What are people afraid? Oh, they're going to make it worse for me. Okay, believe me. With the level of contempt I've shown them over the years and the stuff that I have done and the antics that I have displayed in court, if they don't throw me in jail for the rest of my life, they're not going to do anything to you.
Exactly. And a lot of that conditioning comes out of school, when you put your hand up and ask a question and the teacher snaps at you and stuff like that. But here's something for let's just we'll focus on Americans right now, because right now we got the Americans outnumbered on the show, Dean. It's
oh yeah. Oh, and for people out there too, if don't be afraid to tell those people, hey, don't you dare talk down to me.
Yeah.
And they give those snide remarks like, oh, you're one of those free men or something like that. Say, excuse me, did you just profile me? Are you talking down to me?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are? Don't you dare talk down to me.
Young man.
Yeah.
Or young lady. Now,
you're a public servant. The second word is servant.
Hello. The operative word is servant.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this is for the Americans that if they don't want to go into court and whatever. You've heard Peter talk about it many times. Here's a way to test the waters. If you want to just have some fun, and you don't even have to go in. What you need to do is print off blanks of the SF-24, 25, 25A.
25A.
273,
274, 275, which is Miller Reinsurance, and your standard for 28, which is the surety bond. And they're going to say, how the hell do they know to send all these documents to me? That's what I guarantee you. Hey, it's going to be like you came to the party
Peter?
And you pooped in the punch bowl. It's beautiful.
Well, what I was going to suggest is just do a little handwritten note. Say, listen, this is in regards to case file number blah blah blah. I'm just sending the required forms for whoever is making the claim against me because I want to make sure that whoever's making this claim can actually back it up. It's one of the 10 maxims, commercial maxims. I just want to make sure that that someone's not going to maybe commit identity theft on me and fraud and use my bond because I have mine here and I'll bring it in with me, no problem, to settle the account. Just a little note like that.
Very good. Yeah, you can be creative. That's what I'm saying. We put the information out, folks. You can have some fun with this. You really can. And believe me, when you start bringing up the birth certificate, bond, the cusp, and all this other stuff, they're going to say, you know what, it's only a $65 ticket, and we were going to draft them for performance and make all this extra money. And now they're asking for my damn hazard bond, and I'm flying without a net. Gee, do I really want to invoke that this person's going to maybe file charges against me because I've committed a fraud upon the court because I'm flying without a proverbial net? Oh, yeah. Gee. Well, you know what? This really wasn't that important anyways. Let's throw the case out. There you go.
Now, let's also keep in mind, though, that when they get the plea from you and you settle the accounts, which I think I brought this up last time, which is why I'm not a big fan of settling the accounts.
I'm not telling anybody to plea anything, brother.
No, there's nothing. Dean, that doesn't happen. The whole thing,
we don't plea. You're just going in to settle the account before it goes to fruition finality with the judge. I'm telling them to circumvent getting to the judge. You know what I'm saying?
The only thing I'd be leery about with settling the accounts, though, is that you're still authorizing them to access the trust to pay the DA, to pay the courts, to pay all the fees and behind the scenes. The fine is just a fine, but the fees also get billed in the background, and that's going to be tens of thousands of dollars.
No, I realize that.
Dean, you're missing everything I'm saying here, bro. Yeah, I'm on a different page. I'm on the Peter page. It's all good.
Yeah.
What I'm saying here, this is what I'm doing. This is the short tour. This is just a card game, brother. That's all it is. They're never going to settle the damn account. The whole point in me doing this exercise is to pull my four aces out, which is all them damn bonds, and then they say, oh, he knows what he's asking for. That makes them real nervous. They're cockroaches, brother. You just pooped in the punch bowl, and they don't want to be in the party no more. So this is what they did to my sister Deatra here in America, in Mississippi, and she said, well, I'll need to see your hazard bond while we're at it, too. I want to make sure this case is, valid and that you got some skin in the game. And next thing you know, 10 minutes later, the little public pretender hurries up and runs over to the DA, tells the DA what she told him, comes back and says, you never have to come back to this court again. Have a great day. This is the whole point of the exercise.
Perfect.
They'll never settle the account, Dean, and we know that. This is not the objective. The objective is to show them that they're caught with their proverbial hands in your back pocket.
Yep, I've been telling people for a long time that this is Texas Hold'em. I think that's even in my videos. And you want to know where their bond is because they have to ante up to see what you got.
So this is how it's all working together. We're just trying to stop the money flow because it will never go beyond that. They will prosecute the case.
What they do with my brother with the Divine Providence went down with his little white flag. You'd have loved it. I wish we'd have got this on tape. I said to my brother Michael, how come nobody got this on tape? I mean, we're gonna make this go viral in 5 minutes. It was beautiful. And she told both parties, the dead entity and the live man, that they were free to go. I mean, except in two different breaths. One was saying, "Yeah, Michael Bukowski, you are free to go," and Michael, you're free to go. I mean, brother, this is like, you know,
it
we're having
doesn't
some
get
fun
any more
over here
clear.
in America.
Oh, no, that's perfect.
It doesn't get clearer than that.
Once again, and you know this one, Kate, if you're not having fun,
yeah,
you're
not doing
wrong.
it right.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what she said.
Our one of our strategies of knowing we were doing something right was when the judge was getting pissed off. That way we knew we were on track. You know?
Yep.
So,
yep.
This has been a great call.
Shit.
Just one sec. Patrice is in the queue. I didn't see her there. I just want to see what number is. Sorry, Patrice.
Patrice. My Patrice.
DHS intimidation. Yes, here we go. I gotta get Patrice in here. One sec.
DHS, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the. See if the 480. That's got to be it, or 401. Yeah, that's Patrice. Patrice, you're on the line, hon. Sorry about that. I didn't see you. You just it's been jumping all over the map here tonight.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're there.
We can hear you now.
Okay.
You're scared of talk slow. You're not allowed to talk fast because you got some slow people on the phone.
Yeah, but I tried to dial in 15 minutes ago, so now I'm halfway there. So yeah, I had another little episode today. Kate knows about it a little bit, and there was a new update, Kate. I'm just not having it anymore with these people that don't want to listen. I had an episode. I've been trying to get a part-time job for about a month, been put through the ringer. I've been jumping through all the little hoops. And, you know, you have to fill out this, you got to fill out that, who are you, how many times a day do you pick your nose, all that stuff, right? So fine.
Yeah.
You know, I more or less comply with everything. And I had talked to someone at DP, you know, about the W-4. He said just put exempt, you know, you don't need to enter that contract, fine. That they didn't have any problem with that. Then when we got to the ID stuff, they started in with this whole I-9. You got the Chinese menu, one from column A or one each from column B and column C, you know, as far as who are you and, you know, what are you doing. So I have multiple issues with this job application, not the least of which is the identification process. So they send me a form, I have to fill it out, I have to go and get it notarized, that I'm showing so I show my column B driver's permit and column C social security number, right? Like, because they can have it, I don't really care, I'm not using the number on the front. And so I notarize that, I sign that, box it, you know, and fax it off to the number on the page. Well, the IDs didn't come out clearly. We can't really see what you sent on the fax. Can you please go and scan it and then email attached to us what you notarized, what you had notarized as far as IDs? And I said, sure, no problem. So I go to a local copy shop. Can you scan this for me? Yes, fine. Scan it, email it, boom, PDF, boom. So now I have, but right before I said, well, okay, before I had her scan it, see, now my head was going. I said, well, wait a second, before you scan it, I said, this was already notarized yesterday in blue, you know, I signed it and everything. I said, but now that this is a new transaction and we're scanning it and not faxing it according to the original instructions, I should just wait a second. So I get my little trusty red ink pad out, which Kate, you're laughing because I carried it with me yesterday with the mail. So I have an update to the postal mail thing signature too, because I refused to sign a certified mail and I used my red thumbprint. That's another little story I can give people what to do on that. So I happen to have my trusty red ink pad. I put the thumbprint. I said, okay, now you can scan it, right? So she said, okay. So she scans it in full color. I email it off. A couple of hours later, I get a phone call. Oh, no, this simply won't do. Where is this driver's permit from? We've never seen anything like this before. I've been in HR for years and processed hundreds of, I've never seen anything like this before. I said, well, I understand it's unusual, it's rare, there's only a few hundred people of us, but there's more, and so you probably ought to get acquainted with it. And so, let's move past the discomfort, and what do you need to have in order to verify my persona, right? So I said I met your requirements. She said, oh, no, I can't accept this identification. I'm going to have to call you back. And I said, okay, call me back. Right? She gets on the line with a second person. So now we've got the Weingartner witness person. So now there's two people on the phone. Where is this from? Why are you sending this? I said, okay, look. I said, are you really that uncomfortable? I said, because I'm going to send you. I said, I'll send you the back. I have copies with the front and the back, and I'll send you another piece of my identification. And, like that. And she goes, they were getting very nervous. So I said, I'll send you a little bit more and a few suggestions on how you can do your part to verify this. I said, because I'm meeting your requirements from column B and column C. And I said, quite frankly, I haven't had any problems. I've rented a truck, gone to the post office, gone to a notary, at the bank, this, that, and the other thing, and nobody seems to have trouble with this driver's permit. I said, you're the first one who's actually giving me cause for concern. So she said, oh, well, send me more information, and we'll check into it. So fine. So now we're on round 3 of the administrative procedure. So I send her the copy of the and copy now of Title 18, and I invite her to call the number on the back. I said, I wasn't obligated to give you the back or additional information. I said, but I'm going to provide it as a courtesy. So then she, oh, no. She just... Now she gets into we'll get back to you. We will get back.
Oh yeah, they'll get back to you in your next lifetime.
Right, so now she goes. They're gonna research it and get back to me. So now she gets back to me, and now we've got the double people on the phone again, right? So she says, I'm sorry, but we're just not going to be able to accept this because according to the Department of Homeland Security, blah, 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 she's reading something clearly in front of her face, which, she goes, any kind of diplomatic identification has to be printed only in the new form that's been issued since December of 2011, then anything prior to 2011 is not. Listen, right? So she starts going on this path, and she, can't be accepted. And I said, oh, well, mine's 2012. It's issued in September 2012. So what's the next obstacle? Oh, wow, no, we're just, the Department of Homeland Security, has us following very strict rules. And I said, well, I just received back my criminal background check that you did on me, and I peed in the cup, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I said I did your drug screen. They had me sign for that, too. They had me sign for my urine. I'll get to that in 1 second. So I said, that all came clean. She goes, yes. I said, so what seems to be the problem, right? And she goes, oh, no, we're going to have to get back to you. I said, okay, why don't you do this? I said, you're worried about the Department of Homeland Security? Yes. The Department of Homeland Security has my name. I said, so please call them instead of threatening me with that. Oh, no, we're not threatening you. I said, you're not? Oh, no, you're being short is not very helpful. You're being awfully short, and I'm trying to help you. Oh, right. I said, you're trying to help me? I said, that's very interesting. I said, because my perspective, I'm feeling antagonized. I've jumped through hoops. This has gone on for a month. I've done everything you've asked. I've provided full disclosure. I've needed my end of the contract to provide in honor my identification, who I am, what my status is, in the format you wanted, to copy, print, call or scan, sign, notarize, fax, call you again, and do all these things. I said it's now incumbent upon you, because you have an obligation to fulfill your part of verifying my ID. You need to honor your side of it. And I said, so I've invited you to call the number on the back. Did you do that? Well, I've invited you to call the Governor General of Canada to verify my status, or call your nearest, the closest Canadian embassy to you and go through that process. Well, and I said, have you done those things? Have you verified the information that I gave you? Now, for the 5th time. And, well, we're going to have to research this and get back to you.
Yeah,
again, right. So, meanwhile, I've already had it, and I sent this whole, diatribe to Kate, and I didn't ask her. She has 2 other problems with me. These people have two more problems with me, which, they haven't solved yet. Excuse me. One is my quirky physical address issue, and the second is I haven't yet asked them. I was going to ask the person at the lab about the signing of the drug screen, the urine, which is another thing because we went through this process. So meanwhile, so now the last iteration, Kate, to update you, because you saw the recent iteration, is she sends me back a new Chinese menu list. It says, I'm sorry, but we're not going to accept what you gave us. It doesn't fit the criteria of this list, the I-9 from DHS, and unless you provide us something that meets this list within the next 3 days, we're going to rescind our offer of employment. Okay, so I'm going to solve this because one of the items on there is a school ID with a picture. So tomorrow I'll fax.
Patrice,
yes.
Sorry to jump in. No, this is good. We got like 6 minutes left here. I'm just going to let.
I know. I tried to call in earlier.
No, this is okay. What I'm going to tell everyone right now is I'm just going to let the call keep going after we go off the air. And for anyone, we'll keep going for a bit to make sure all the information gets out, Patrice. So don't worry about it.
Okay, so it'll get recorded. Yeah,
it'll get recorded, so you can download this episode. All right. I just want to. I'm just going to do my little plug now, so that we can keep going. And if you do get it done in the next 5 minutes, great. If not, we'll carry on a bit longer. So everyone listening, if you want to hear, if we do run out of time on the air, this will be recorded. You can download it, and you can get the rest of the story once you download the episode. Outside the Box, 24th October. Just go to freedomreigns.us archives. And it'll be there. You can right-click it, save target as, and you'll have the rest of the show. So I will say this. I'm going to let Patrice just keep going here. And you're listening to Outside the Box on Freedom Reigns Blog Talk Radio. Patrice, and I'm going to say thanks to Dean and thanks to Peter. We're still here. We're not going anywhere. But I just want to get that out on the air. So there you go. Carry on.
All right, very good.
And Tony, thank you, Tony. You're so quiet.
my Rosa Parks, I'm not getting in the back of the bus scenarios anymore because I seem to have a lot of them lately. So I said, well, okay, fine. So she sends me this email. Now we're not going to accept it. We're going to rescind the offer in the next 72 hours if you don't, update it. So there will be an update by Friday, I promise you, because tomorrow I'm going to be sending her, around 5, whatever. So the other item was, I had gone, they sent me this thing, oh, you need to go to a drug screen within 24 hours, blah, 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 blah. And, walk to some clinic. I go to the clinic. It's, whatever. And the person said, and I said, well, I find it interesting that your clinic took the ID, the same ID that you don't want to, verify as my appointment, went right on my pee. I said, so it identified my urine, but it doesn't identify me. There's something strange about that. So when I went into the back and she had the sealed sample to make sure that it wasn't tampered with, and I had to sign that she sealed it in front of me and wasn't tampered with and this, that, and the other thing, there was an electronic signing thing, and she was clicking, so it had my signature and her signature on the screen, so I could see the computer screen, and then it had the little electronic signature grabber thing like you have at the bank. And I said, oh, no, don't click, right, because I was busy. I hate those things, so I can't sign as well as I do with the ink pen. And I said, oh, no, don't. I said, take your finger away from that mouse. And she said, why? I said, because I'm not done signing. She said, what do you mean? And I proceeded to draw a box around.
Right on. I love it.
Oh, yes, I did. And then she signed, right, on her thing. She had an electronic signature already embedded in the machine, so it showed my signature, her signature. She clicked to the next page. Her signature disappears. Mine gets snapped into a thing on the computer. And I almost asked her, why did mine stay and yours disappeared? But I thought, you know what? I don't have energy for this today. I'm going to leave the urine sample lady alone today because I succeeded in getting the box around before she clicked. Because she was ready to click as soon as I got to the end of my signature. She was going to click and capture that. Oh, no. I said, oh, no. You take your hand off that mouse. No.
You're wrong.
Oh, no. So I boxed my urine. I said, they're going to box my signature. I'm boxing my urine, too, okay? So she didn't say anything, and we didn't get into it, and she escorted me away. I'm like total Rosa Parks. I'm not getting on the bus anymore.
Okay, guys, I got it. Everyone listening, if you can't have fun, listen to what Patrice is doing. She's having a field day with these monkeys.
Right. And the thumbprint. Let's talk about the thumbprint with the scanner and the going to retrieve certified mail at the postal counter.
Let's go.
As if I didn't already have enough with the postal counter, right? So I have this lady who's perpetrating a little bit of fraud on me in another state with a swords bin, who had altered my the name and has been trying to play games with me with a check. Okay, I don't want to go into the details, but she sent me this check. I sent it back. No, I can't have this. She sent it back again. I said, I'm not able to endorse anything. She sends it back. She goes, well, it's already made out to you, so you have to sign it, and then I can cash it and give you a money order. I said, no, I don't. I sent it back again. I said, you're going to void it, and you're going to send me a money order. Right, so that's where it went off. So she gets, now I cornered her. She sent me the money in a money order with a certified thing to sign for it. And she said, and then a long letter, I'm sending you certified mail, which means when it comes, you have to sign for this mail, and the money order is inside of it, and if the certified mail is returned to me because you refused to pick it at the counter, I'm not sending you your money. She's wrote it like this in a written letter. She tells me all this ahead of time. I'm sending you this letter in advance to let you know in advance what's going to happen. And what's going to happen is you're going to receive certified mail, and you're going to have to sign for it. So I said, okay, fine. So I get the little slip in my P.O. box. The brown thing says you have certified mail at the counter. I said, So I take the little brown card up to the clerk who knows me, and I said, she goes, oh, you have certified mail? Yeah. She goes, I need to sign the card. So I get my little red ink stamp out, and I put my red thumbprint on her. So she takes the brown card. Now she comes back with the certified mail, rips off the green return receipt card. She goes, oh, I need you to sign this. This has to go back. And so I take my red ink out again, and I thumbprint the green card. And she goes, did you just put your thumbprint on there? I said, yeah, I thumbprinted both of them, your card, your internal thing, and the green one that you're sending back. She goes, oh, I don't know if my scanner is going to pick that up. She goes, well, let's see. So she gets the scans my what would be the signature box area of the green return receipt, and it picks up the bright red thumbprint over top the signature line. I did not send that lady my signature, who's been trying to get my signature out of me for 3 weeks now, by every means possible, including certified mail. So we will see. We will see what happens when she gets her little green card back and realizes that she's a thumbprint and not my signature.
All right, don't mess. Yeah,
all right.
We're off the air, guys, but we're keeping this rolling.
Because you can do it. So the scanner that if you don't want to sign, you can thumbprint on a certified.
We're gonna have
green
major
card
downloads off this show.
I don't think they care if it's a thumbprint or a signature. As long as you made your mark, that's good enough for their purposes.
Yeah, for their purposes, but the recipient, you have to understand, I'm in a little bit of a battle with her about a fraudulent thing she's done to me, and I found her out about it, and so I've been kind of squeezing her to the task. I was going to say something fresh, but I bit my tongue. So I've been squeezing her to come clean on what she did because I've caught her out. And so she's been trying to capture my signature. I don't know why, but she is. Well, I have a suspicion why, because it's a document is forged, and she said that I signed it and everything like that. So I refused to give her my signature because I have the fraudulent document in my possession that she altered. So she's been playing games with cut and paste. So I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to. But I have the money. So now guess what, guys? I have a money order in my possession. So guess what I get to do later in the week? Go back to
put it in the box
and cash the money order. Yes, I get to cash another money order. So we get to do round 2 of the blue box, and then I get my cash, my $100. So we'll see. I haven't done it yet. But I guess I already know.
You have tales of woe, young lady. Tales of woe. It's just terrible.
Oh, well, I know what to do, don't I? Because I already did it, so I'm going to do it again. I promise you guys on the last card.
This is what's called being sandpaper in the machine.
Yep.
You're just being, instead of a machine that needs to be greased all the time, you're just a piece of sandpaper in there. And if enough people are sandpaper, the machine breaks down no matter what.
Yep.
So I done boxed my P, I done boxed the certified mail, I done boxed the postal money order, and I'm going to give them people with ID another round tomorrow because I'm not getting on that bus either. So
that is friggin' hilarious. Yep, this is just causing so much problems for them. If everybody started doing this, they couldn't. The machine couldn't function. The whole system would just fall down.
Ding, you need
right, and then that's right. And I'm going to tell her tomorrow. I think that your issue with the Department of Homeland Security is all set now. You should be all set. Certainly, you called them and checked on me, didn't you?
She didn't. Hey, by the way, she's making.
She did.
Patrice, let me say something for a second. They made a legal determination for your document, which with no authority to do so. Yeah, another Cartman thing, no authority. Well, they think they have authority, but therein lies the problem, because they made a legal determination for something that they know nothing of, and they're not even willing to reference it. So they got some other deeper issues coming about, because that might be a violation of UPU issues as well. So yeah, that's something I got to research, I guess.
Yeah, you research it, because they're playing games with me, and now they think she's going to corner me that I don't have some other kind of ID, but I do. I have column B and I have column C, and I'm going to exhume and present it tomorrow. And when I exhume and present it tomorrow, I will remind her of Title 18, which I already sent, and encourage her to read it, if she didn't read it already, to read it again. And then I will say, now I've met the Chinese column choices, and so what's your next obstacle? What is your next obstacle, madam?
Anyways, I got to roll. Hey, Dean, I want to catch you on the rebound sometime during the week. I know you're binded up on multiple levels, but yeah, we need to have a talk.
No problem.
And thanks again, Dean.
Make sure you bring your big cup while you're at it too.
Hey,
all right, brother. It was great. Hey, guys, it was a great night. Really,
that was awesome. It was a great show. And Dean, I'll have to get with you about as soon as I get the documents. I've already put the call in. That was last Thursday, so I'll be giving them another call tomorrow. But I will be having a private bailiff going in, acting as a power of attorney with uniform to go pick the stuff up. They won't be able to say no.
Wonderful.
Anyway,
all you need is a copy. You don't need no originals.
Yep, I know.
Copy.
I'm getting the whole file that was there. I had everything, divorced, everything. I'm taking care of a lot of stuff.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Gonna have some fun. Finally, and yeah, we'll get together on a couple of tidbits of things that we need to. I want to walk this one first, and where I can get my head around it, and I can start helping others do the same. So, got to get
Wonderful.
people know who they are. Hey, we multiply ourselves through others. So, and that's the thing with me. I had a saying when I was 7 years old, and I remember saying it so clearly. It's, when I win, we'll all win, and that's always been my game. But Patrice, great information, hun, as always. You're a little firecracker out there kicking the shit out of the system every time. and Tony,
Indeed.
Tony, thank you, man. You're always there for me. So I can't say I appreciate you enough. And we'll hook up at some point tomorrow. I got to go see about my storage units that I'm not going to worry too much about. Because I'll be moving it. Well, I won't be moving it. Allied Van Life will be moving my stuff home, and there's going to be some compensation coming out of this too to take care of all the damages and the stuff that they did. So, yeah,
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun.
Lovely.
And Peter, thank you. Patrice, thank you. Dean, Tony, thank you so much, guys, girls.
No, it's all good. Let's up the rebellion.
Yeah, and I'll let you guys know what the stats were after the show, but the one you were on last time, Dean, I think we had 18,000 dialed in.
Wow.
That's shocking, actually.
Okay, you're making a difference. So we hit a lot of people on this show, man. That's why I want to have you here, because you're you, Peter, Patrice, Tony, Diatra, and we all get together and just start talking about this stuff. It's very candid and it's very down to earth that people can understand.
It encourages them. It gives them some backbone.
Yeah, it gives them. Hey, listen, we're all sitting around having a party. This is a kitchen Kaylee, and we're just normal, average, everyday people too.
Right.
Come to our party. It's better than theirs.
Absolutely, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. And that's what brings it home. That's what really brings it home. We don't need to be the intellectuals. We just get out there and bare our hearts and show them that we do this walk. We don't talk it, we do it. But thanks again, you guys. You guys rock my world. You made a difference in my world again.
Okay, well, just let me know whenever we're doing this. I'm usually around the evening now.
Right.
Awesome. All right. All right. We'll talk to you soon. And Dean, I'll catch up with you tomorrow or the next day. And you're welcome on the show anytime, just to have these beautiful little candid chats of look what we're doing now.
Yeah, there's always news. There's always going to be something new to report. So
more and more every day. All right, guys. So have a
Wonderful.
great night, and we'll catch you on the backside. Okay.
All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Take care.
Okay. Night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're having a few problems at the moment. It looks like Kate is getting hacked already. We've just opened the show. Welcome to Outside the Box, Freedom Reigns. Is there anybody else that is there at the moment? We've got Dean Clifford with us, and we've also got Peter from DP. Is anybody else there? Hello. Okay, right. Peter's with us. It looks that way. I'm waiting for somebody else to let me know that we're live and this isn't actually getting out. But yeah, I think we're going to be in for a good show tonight. Lots of people out there already know about Dean Clifford's work, and obviously, okay, looks like Kate's still trying. Are you there with us, Kate? Okay, do you want to say hello?
Hello.
Hello, Dean.
Hey, apparently I'm hot.
Absolutely. Excellent.
Excellent.
Right. It's started. So, what have you been up to lately, Keith?
Well, working all this week. After a summer of fun out and about, screwing with the government and the police and going after everybody, I'm back at construction pretty much full time now. So, time to get my own affairs back in order while I finish all this other stuff off. So I'll be working for the winter back at building houses and contracting, and kind of happy to be back on the tool belt, actually.
Okay, that sounds quite interesting. So, give us a brief on how you're managing to do this, because obviously in the UK here we've got safety certificates, we've got all sorts of different things that prevent anybody from working on sites unless you're doing it exactly by the letter. So give us a quick bit of information on that one, please, Dean.
Well, actually, to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever had any kind of a safety certificate, a builder's license, or anything in my entire life. I don't really see what the heck the point of that would be. I mean, you're either you got to get a building permit when you're building in a brand new area, which I have a building permit on one of the houses I'm building right now because it's going to be sold afterwards. But as long as it's being built to code, because they have to inspect it every time you complete a stage, what the hell would you ever need any type of certification for? Well, I don't think that even makes any sense.
No, that's fine. But in the UK, we've got things like CIS cards, and there's all sorts of other tax codes that you need, and all sorts of, serious amounts of equipment. Legislation on you've got to have hard hats, boots. All your tools have got to be 110 voltage, and you've got to jump through this hoop, that hoop, and quite a few other hoops. So it's not the same as over here, then, Dean.
No, definitely not. And let me ask you a question about that with regards to the UK. If you do not have all of these things, can you be prevented from even working on a site?
Basically, yes. That's the legislation. It's crazy, but it's been brought in bit by bit by bit, drip by drip. I mean, there's certain tools you can't use. And, there's things like nail guns that you can't use unless you've got site safety certificates. You need insurances. There's loads of different loops.
They go in, they want to argue common law rights in a commercial venue, and they don't mix. You cannot bring the two different law forms together, right? That's a maxim of equity. You cannot bring two unequal things together. So,
absolutely.
Know which jurisdiction you're bringing this into, but people have to start fighting this stuff. You have to start taking the government to task. You have to start contacting some of these assholes and saying, "Excuse me, by definition, a license is permission to do something which otherwise would be illegal. I don't want a contractor's license. Are you trying to tell me it's illegal to be a contractor, to enter into contracts without your permission? Who the fuck are you to interfere and to meddle in a private contract if I enter into one with somebody?"
Yeah, I understand that.
They can't answer that. That'll bring that down right there.
Well, they're doing a bloody good job of bringing it in anyway, and it's, like I say, it's well established here now. But,
well, it's well established because nobody said anything for 40 years, right?
Well, pretty much something like that.
Yeah, all that is operation of law. They're thinking, oh, well, I guess they're okay with it because they haven't said anything. The only problem is we haven't said anything yet. So it's not real law. It's only in force and effect because nobody's bitching about it.
Yep. Well, people are bitching about it, but they're still going along with it. That's the problem. It's acquiescence.
Yeah. Well, and again, just bitching about it doesn't do anything. You actually have to bring an action against them and get them to prove up their claim that you require a license to do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Which obviously is part of what needs to be done.
Yep. I'm all for building codes. Like, I'm a builder. I'm all for building codes because I've seen some awful stuff out there. This is why I'm very agreeable. I'm a very agreeable fellow. I do agree we need some form of body that comes along and inspects the work to make sure it's done to a minimum standard. And that's all a building code is. It's a minimum standard of building. Like to say something's built to code, you're letting somebody know it's been built to a minimum standard. You should always be exceeding a minimum building standard. And as long as the inspectors are coming out and they're passing the work, what the fuck does it matter whether the people doing the work are licensed and even certified? It doesn't. It doesn't make a difference. That's just bullshit. So I'll leave that topic alone now. You probably want to move on.
Well, we've also got Peter with us from Divine Province. Are you there, Peter?
I'm here.
Excellent. How have you been getting on?
Very good. Very fluid situation. Trains left the station, and it's getting real exciting here in America, America. We're keeping them hopping down here. We're having a good time. They're actually they're starting to get the memo on a different level. Had a brother actually go into court and retain his position. Matter of fact, it's a posted case. Let's see, what was it? Issued nolo pro quo or something like that. Anyways, he just went in there with a little white flag stating his beneficial position as the living beneficiary and brought his little birth certificate. Judge noted it right up front. Have a great day. Michael Bukowski was free to go, and Michael was free to go. So they recognized the man, and it was very simple, easy, 5 minutes, in, out, game over. Because that's sweet. I'm researching another gentleman. I think he's in Australia, and he's administrated his process, and I've caught wind. I want verification, of course. I don't take anything on hearsay. So once I get some verbal and some proof, I think he was in the middle of a foreclosure and made that baby go bye-bye and went to bed. And there's other issues across the country that are literally getting put to bed. Matter of fact, DHS, I think, talked with brother JT and basically said, hey, we'd like to enter your, we'd like to talk to the Postmaster General, and they said, you have them. He said, you have them. And
that you need to, loads of different hoops that you need to jump through to work, plus your tax references. If you've got to pay your tax direct and all sorts of other things.
Well, it kind of sounds like you guys are worse off than us, and that just means there's got to be a bigger correction. And my first thought is if somebody told me that I didn't have all the necessary government documents for them to be able to hire me, I would sue them. I would sue them because that is a violation of your right to a meaningful livelihood, your right to work. That's internationally recognized. You have the right to work, and that you don't need government certification just to get a job. So that's a bunch of crap. I mean, I could easily make the case for there needing to be some form of regulations on job sites. Otherwise, you would have a bunch of yahoos out there doing really, really stupid things. But I think it sounds like it's gotten a little ridiculous, especially over there. Even in Canada here, when people told me you actually need something called a contractor's license in some of the different provinces, I started laughing. I said, are you serious? I said, that's just ridiculous. So why would you ever need a contractor's license? Right? You're a contractor. You engage in contracts. Who can limit your right to contract? That's what the word contractor means. Someone's going to pay me to do something, I do it. Now, if I'm going to build somebody a house, and and you need an electrician to come in, then electricians are certified. That's fine. And you need a plumber that's certified. Okay, I could see the reasons for that, even though technically speaking, the homeowner can get their own license, electrical permits and plumbing permits, without their needing to have a license. And then all it takes is, as long as the inspector comes through and says, "Yep, it all looks good," then it's good. You don't need any friggin' certification. Just more government control, and yeah, people definitely do need to start fighting back against that. That just sounds like it just ties up an incredible amount of people's time and resources just to comply with all this government horse shit. And I know everybody's getting pretty tired with it, and unfortunately it's going to be the diehards, the people that truly believe in this stuff, that are going to be the first people to take the lumps and really start to take people to task in the courts and say, by what authority do you have to force me to get a license just to contract?
Exactly. I mean, this is it's getting ridiculous here, but it's coming in from all different angles as well. But I mean, that's one aspect of the actual legislation aspect. But everything has gone absolutely ridiculous over here. We've got CCTV everywhere. We've got tracking systems everywhere. RFIDs in the passports, and there's no RFIDs in your bank cards, and all sorts of things. We're really heading straight into a blooming police state, especially in the UK. But it's obviously not that bad where you are, or not as bad.
No. And again, you remember, everything you're talking about now with regards to a license, I mean, just the very definition of the word license itself. A license is permission to do something which would otherwise be illegal. Are you trying to tell me it's against the law for you to seek meaningful employment, to gain a meaningful livelihood? That just means right there that you don't need a license to do any of this stuff, because that would be like saying it's illegal to work without government permission. Well, who the fuck do they think they are?
Exactly. Legislators.
Yeah, so that would be an excellent lawsuit against the government in the UK, because they could never make answer to that. I don't know what courts you guys have there. You may want to go to one of the higher courts. If you guys can find something like the Court of the Exchequer, which is the federal court here in Canada, that's a court of equity, and go after the government. I know here in Canada it only costs you $2 to sue the government, and even that you can have that waived if you sign a declaration that you have no income. But again, the problem is people are mixing jurisdictions still. We're a lot of people want.
It looks like they're want to make sure we're in the system of record, so everybody's getting the memo. So things are really actually starting to move forward in a positive direction on multiple levels. We're moving forward this weekend on some other stuff, and it's going to be very exciting for all. So really, really good stuff. And I've had no problems with using the international IDs in any way, shape, or form. I don't have any problems, because I like getting them where I want them. I like that they're in full commercial liability when they want to step. It's all good, and they're getting the memo.
Excellent.
No fighting, no arguing, just
It's really exciting stuff. It totally is. I just wondered, Dean, you're up to speed with what guys have been doing over at Divine Providence, yeah?
Nope, I have absolutely no clue. In fact, the first time I'd even heard of it was when Kate brought it up there 2 weeks ago, and I was supposed to look into it more, and I haven't had a chance yet.
Well, you need to come through my door, brother, and I'll give you the nickel tour, and I'll get you on the page. Dude, yeah, I think you've been avoiding me, We had that 20 minutes that one day, and that was the end of that tune.
Oh, man.
I know you're busy. I know you're busy. Yeah, brother. Hey, I'll get you up to speed in 5 minutes. You'll get my memo, and you'll get it. Because I know you're sharp, brother. I know you get this stuff.
Yeah, I'm not really too worried about getting it. I'd like to see what you guys are up to. I'm sure we could probably trade some knowledge here real quick, and then.
Oh yeah. Okay,
I've offered, and I'd like to help Kate out with her little mortgage thing there from last year. Yet that have no problem going back and getting remedy on that. So we should definitely talk about that off air.
Yeah, we're all talk together on that. It's going to be amazing stuff. What I needed to do at the beginning of the show, guys, this is a disclaimer. It's no big deal. Anyway, anything I say, and this is for all the whiners that like to email because they can't handle the truth. Sorry, this is a disclaimer, okay? Get over it. Don't worry, you'll get over me. I did. All right. You made...
Oh, on again?
See?
Yeah.
Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. Anyway, you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, disclaimer is this. Anything I say or any of the guests that are on the show that are my friends, anything that we say belongs to us. And if you can't handle the truth, go find another station. We love you. We want you here to find the truth. And we're going to rattle your ego around the cage quite a bit until it actually falls off the face of the planet, because that's what we're looking for. We want to find you. So is brought up on any outside this is, ad infinitum, ab initio. Okay, guys. Anything. This is our opinion, and we're actually allowed to have one. Apparently, everyone's got one of those, including something else that I don't need to speak of. So, yeah, we keep it light here. But anyway, so if you have any complaints or anything else, don't email anybody. You want to talk to anybody, you can email me direct. If you can handle it, please. I'd love to hear from you. KatieRenee@live.ca. And better be a good one, and it better be valid, and it better have a good argument behind it. I mean, not argument per se, but you know what I mean. So that being said, what you're about to hear is pure unadulterated truth for grown-up people with no mittens and strings.
Cool.
Disclaimer.
Oh, man, I better log out. I don't know if I can handle that.
Well,
Okay. Okay?
Gone again. Well, I guess other than that, before we get going, I'd once again like to thank the Turner Valley RCMP and the Fernie Sparwood RCMP for pissing me off enough this summer to become as public as I possibly and humanly could to make sure that they don't ever do this kind of stuff to anybody ever again. So, special thanks out to Officer Christie of the Turner Valley RCMP, who tasered my brother. Your criminal charges are pending and should be in the courthouse within 2 weeks, and there's about 30 of them, so I hope you enjoy them once they get filed. Other than that, let's move on.
I love you, man. Yeah, you know what's happening? We're into Scorpio, and you guys that like to walk around harming people because you think you've got protection of a fictional piece of paper, wrong.
Yeah,
wrong.
that and we found all the police bonds now. We now know where to go at the courthouse to get all the police bonds.
Oh, okay. Well, we have some time to do.
Those aren't safe anymore either.
Okay, and here's the good news, my friend, because I've got about 20 cops in Guelph that are going to need to have their asses handed to them.
Excellent. We're going to have to talk about that off show as well, too.
Oh, we're going to have some fun. We're going to peace with these guys. This is what they wanted. They chose to harm, so they want to experience that. The golden rule: do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Yep. I would never harm them, but if they've harmed me, they must want to be harmed. So I can't break the golden rule. That wouldn't be peaceful.
Well, I posted a while back that when I finally do file my charges, I have no problem withdrawing the charges on the condition that the other party agrees to make restitution for the damages. And a bunch of people got back to me and said, "Oh, dude, you're going to go to jail for extortion and uttering threats, because that's a frivolous claim if you withdraw it, trying to force them to pay you money." Well, I had a talk with the clerk about this, and I said, I just want to make sure that should the other party, because I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys, I was just got back from Victoria in British Columbia, and I filed 56 criminal charges against 2 RCMP officers while I was out there.
Oh, so look at you.
Yeah, that's going to be in criminal court within the next 2 weeks for a first hearing to get authorization for the warrant that I've asked for their arrest. I'm proceeding indictable. It's going to be a lot of fun. I made sure I asked the clerk. I said, okay, now should the other party choose to provide the restitution that's been asked for, there's no problem with me withdrawing these charges, right? She said, oh, absolutely not. I said, yep. I said, because the only reason I'm even coming to court is they refuse to settle. And she said, yep, that's absolutely not a problem. So for all those people out there that think that that's extortion or uttering threats, you really need to learn law.
You need to learn common sense.
And common sense, okay? That's not a threat. When I tell somebody I'm going to criminally charge you unless you pay restitution, that's not a threat. That is a promise.
Absolutely.
You
go and break someone's window. you got two choices. You can pay to have it replaced or fix it yourself back to the way it was, or I will have to get someone else involved here for you to mediate.
Exactly.
And that's all it is at this point. It becomes a case of mediation, not anything else. And that's where the balance comes in. Look at the scales just coming into Scorpio. Isn't it beautiful?
Yep. Oh, it's going to be excellent. I mean, now they got to be worried about not only losing their homes and their bonds from civil claims, but now these people have to start being worried about the fact that we've figured out how to perfect our own criminal charges. And what was necessary to perfect the criminal charges where people have gone wrong in the past is they never clarified their status.
Oh, isn't that
in
something?
The criminal charges, because then the courts can assume that the person bringing the charge is just a lowly, bottom-rung trustee officer of the Crown who cannot bring a claim against a superior officer. So once you clarify your status at the beginning of the charge, who you are, they can't do that anymore. You're closing every door but the one you want to leave open.
That's sad for them.
Oh, it's terrible, I know. They probably were hoping we never figured that out, but unfortunately they tased my brother and pissed me off enough that I felt it necessary to figure that out this summer. So once again, my special thanks go out to Officer Christie for admitting that he's quite certain that tasers kill people before he pulled the trigger. So attempted murder is one of the charges too.
Yeah.
We have Mandreas.
Yeah, that's not a light charge. That's actually in many cases worse than a murder charge.
Yes, because the intent was there. It wasn't involuntary. You knew that it might kill the person before you did it.
So you might want to put that taser away there, Johnny Longarm, because they do kill. We have too many cases of people getting killed with them.
Yeah, well, there's 3 affidavits of witnesses aside from the victim, and he was seen